Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the QLads channel. We are here for round 5 of Super Rugby Pacific. This one an exciting game. Fijian Drua, their second home game of this season, and they will be up against the Western Force. Now, they are actually undefeated, I should say, at home with their one win from one up against the Rebels. So this will be a very exciting fixture, but we have got the way that the standings are sitting currently. And as you can see, the Brumbies, they are sitting top of the bunch after their victorious performance from their match up against the Reds. They have been able to promote themselves right up to 22 points behind them. And at the 18-point region, it is going to be the Reds. And then also a little bit further down is the Crusaders. But currently for these two sides, they do want to try and make their way up the table just a little bit more. The Western Force is sitting right on the verge of in that quarterfinal. That is in 8th. Fijian Drua sitting there in 9th. So it is going to be a very important game for both of these sides in shaping how their Super Rugby Pacific season does end up going. But I hope you guys are all doing well. This is going to be the lineup for the Fijian Drua. Once again, I will mention some of these pronunciations are not great for myself, but I am slowly working on it for these Fijian names. But we will start with the front row. It will be Ulia Kepa, Dolakoto, and Tawake as the three that they have gone with. And at that front row of the scrum, then at number 4, this is a scary one to say, Tui Whakalele, I believe is the pronunciation there. He is at number 4. And then they have actually got Chirika Davita. He will be starting at number 5 for this matchup. He is a very versatile individual in that forward pack. Can play lock, can play loose forward, can pretty much play anywhere. He could play in the back line if they really asked him. Nice. Says Brandon also, howdy, Hamish, hope you're all well. And there says Katie, we are indeed. We are excited for another massive rugby gauntlet that we have got. We've got 3 games of Super Rugby followed by 3 games of the 6 nations, so 6 in total that we will be doing. Should be very exciting indeed. Joe Tamani gets a start at number 6. I'm excited to see him in action for the Fijian Drua. Mira at number 7, and then Nagusa going to be there at number 8. Start this one off. So a little bit of a reshuffle that they have had in that loose forward trio for the Fijian Drua. Then at number 9, it will be Frank Lamani. He was recently at the Northampton Saints, but now has made his way back to the Drua and will be flying down at the wings in this matchup, because that's the thing, even though he's playing number 9, more than likely once they do end up having the replacement of 9, he'll probably pop out to the wing, have a little bit of a late run down there. Titetela going to be there at number 10, Habosi, Ravovo, Vota, then it is going to be Ravu Taumara, and also it will be Matai Thiwa, who is slotting in at number 15, 2 games, Rugby Sevens, one tomorrow, little live stream as well, says Brandon. There, of course, the Sevens going on in New Zealand, in Fiji currently in New Zealand. They've had a couple tough games. It's looking like it's absolutely pouring there for them. So it's going to be very wet, that is for sure. But that is the Fijian Drua lineup. Now we look through at the Western Force. Harry Lloyd, Feliti Kaitu'u, and Greg Holmes does get to start there at number 3. Jeremy Thrush return, and the big man with a very impressive mustache from what I remember from last year's Super Rugby. He will be alongside Isaac Rodder. So somewhere where they will be extremely strong in this game, the Western Force, will be those line-out turnovers. As with Rodder and Thrush, they should be able to get themselves at least a couple throughout this fixture. Fergus Lee Warner, he will be at number 6. Ollie Kalen, going to be there at 7. And then Bynard Stander. Said that very weird, didn't I? But Stander is there at number 8. Pryor and Jake McIntyre gets a slot in at number 10 for this match. So no sign of Pasatoa at this stage. Manasa Mata Eli at 11 did score last week, and we'll be looking to extend that try-scoring record for this season. Bailey Quenzel gets a start. Number 12, Richard Kahui there. And then out on the wing, it will be Byron Ralston and Jake Strawn, sorry. There at number 15. And hey, says, hello, welcome into the live stream. Do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for this exciting fixture. We did see the game last night between the Reds and the Brumbies. I think a lot of people felt that game was a bit of an anticlimax. So hopefully this game is certainly going to deliver. It is played at Leichhardt Oval, so it's actually a different home ground for the Fijian Drua than the last game that they did have at home. But that last game that they did have at home, they were able to get themselves their win up against the Rebels. Then off the bench, Togi Otama, it will be Karoi Duadua and Manasa Saulo as the front row replacements. Christopher Menimbi is there as the lock replacement. Salawa is also going to be available, and he has actually been starting a couple of the previous weeks, I believe, for the Fijian Drua. Matawalu coming off the bench, Balatha, and then it will be Ratave as the last replacement that the Fijian Drua will be able to go to. And stamina and endurance in this game is going to be so important, because we know how quick of a pace the Western Force can kind of push aside. And the Fijian Drua, they have got a very dynamic style of rugby that just means they run and they run and they run again, and they will keep on going right to the final whistle. Andrew Reddy, Boapra, first appearance, I should say, from him this season for the Western Force. Santiago Medrano, the Argentine international. Jackson Pure, I'm not too sure whether that's how you say it. I think it's Pugh, actually, when I look at it again. Tim Anstey, Isaac Fines, and then it will be Rejan Pasatoa, and then Makara is there at number 23 for the Western Force. Just checking which channel is it on Sky in New Zealand. I believe it is Sky Sport 2 for this game. And also can't wait for this game to start, says Daniel. But it is a bit confusing because a lot of the games are normally Sky Sport 1, and they've decided to switch it for this game. But I'll just make sure that I have got that right channel for you before I go and tell you a few other bits of information. One moment, it is loading. I love my Wi-Fi. It just takes years, but that's all right, because luckily somehow these live streams still go relatively smoothly. Yep, Sky Sport 2 for this match, and also Fijian Drua by 10. And then Daniel has said he can't wait for this game to start. Should be a very exciting one. And I just love the way that the Fijian Drua play. They're a fast-paced side, and they will keep on pushing the pace throughout this whole game. Looking through at their previous results, as you can see here, first week up against the Waratahs did not go the way that the Drua would have loved for their Super Rugby debut. But, of course, was the debut. So it was always going to be a tough battle. Then their next game up against the Brumbies, 42 points to 3. But then we all of a sudden saw a turnaround in the Drua. They did win the game up against the Rebels by 5 points. They lost their game up against the Reds by 5 points. But that was an absolutely incredible fixture, the way that they fought back throughout that matchup and almost got themselves over the line. I believe they scored 3 tries in 5 minutes, which was something that we haven't really seen from any other team in Super Rugby so far. The Western Force, they had a close game to start off with, and they did end up losing that game, unfortunately for them. Then they did have a good win over the Rebels. The Reds were able to get 13 points over them, and then they did lose to the Waratahs last weekend, which is a game that they certainly would have liked to win, as it does now mean that the Waratahs promote themselves up just a little bit further in that order. And as you can see, the Waratahs currently, they are sitting in 4th place, but if the Western Force win this game with a bonus point, they would go above the Waratahs just for now. But the Rebels will be playing the Waratahs later on tonight, so that could easily change it once again. And also, Hamish, how are you, mates? He's tracking down under, doing very well. Excited, very excited. Like, that's the thing. When you have a rugby gauntlet, normally the vocal cords don't get too excited, but I've got about 14 hours of talking coming up in the next little while. So hopefully you guys don't get sick of my voice during this first live stream, or else you're really going to hate me by the end of the last one, because it's going to be at 9 a.m. that last one is taking place. But I hope you are well as well. Truck, and do let me know, mate. And do let me know who you think will be winning this. Thanks for letting me know, says Simon. No worries at all, mate. And got to stay up as long as I can, says Katie. So we should possibly assume as soon as there's like a time that's about maybe a 20-minute window that there's no message, does that mean that you have possibly fallen asleep? And I wouldn't blame you, because it is a random hour over there at the moment, isn't it? I would try and do my time zones. I think you're like 11 p.m., but it's probably not the case. And I'll say, hey, David the Mod, how you doing today? Says Brandon. I'll say, hey, howdy, hey, I hope you're all well. And I, Hamish, Brandon, howdy, man, Katie Dixon, hope you are all well. And there as well. But currently we're only a few minutes away from this game getting underway. This is the first of 3 games that will be taking place today as well, I should mention, with the next game after this one. It's going to be the rescheduled Moana Pacifica taking on the Chiefs. That is at 7:05. And then that is followed by the Waratahs taking on the Rebels. Sadly, no Crusaders Blues game taking place on the Sunday. But the good news is next week at this stage, we have still got all these fixtures, including a Tuesday game, which will be relatively exciting on the 29th of March. So that is 10 days' time that one will be taking place, although it is yet to have a confirmed time. But I would assume more than likely it's going to be either a 5 o'clock or maybe a 7:05 p.m. kickoff, somewhere around that mark for that fixture. But as you can see, there's quite a few good games coming up. The Rebels versus the Drua again. That will be exciting, because this time the Drua are away from home, and we'll be looking to pick up successful back-to-back wins over the Rebels. Highlanders versus Blues as a Super Rugby Trans-Tasman rematch. Chiefs versus Crusaders as the Super Rugby Aotearoa rematch. Plenty of action coming up for Super Rugby, and I'm well in there. And Tosso Drua in there, says Jamie Easton. Hamish doing good. Can't go past the Drua, mate. And then that's a fair statement at the moment, although they are underdogs. But I feel like anytime I see the betting odds, I can't trust them for the Fijian Drua, because that's the thing. They were $5 underdogs to beat the Rebels. And I don't understand how, because throughout that game, they were just looking like favourites. And I feel like this game, I guess it's probably like, I wouldn't have them any lower than like $2.50 underdogs, just because with the Fijian Drua, you never quite know what you're going to get Like I always mention, life's like a box of chocolates. That's what Forrest Gump said. You never know what you're going to get. And that is what you can see in the Fijian Drua side. You never know which Drua side you're going to see turn up. You could see a side put 50 points on today if they do put it all together. And hey, RDA, brother, I'm doing very well, though. I pulled a muscle in my back when I was installing a new rug in my bedroom. Now I'm on the floor like Exorcism of Emily Rose. Wait, so you're just on the floor with your laptop, Katie? And at stage, are you just chilling down there because it is comfy? And also, Dave, how are you, mate? Open wall as well. And go Drua. Says Kaleti there. So he is going for the Fijian Drua. And Hamish having a massage while I'm watching the game, Hamish, says Daniel. Geez, living the life by the sounds of it. But now we will go like this. We'll move the game over to this screen. My microphone at the moment is just in the wrong place. Oops, that's going to take it out of its socket. That's not what we want. Okay, I'm going to move it, and I'm going to wait for the ping. It always pings, and when it pings, it gives me a fright. We're good. We're good. It's not going to ping today. There it is. Just did it again. And also, we have got the Katie Dixon, ouch, buddy. I heard those hurt. One of my favorite horror movies in Speedy Recovery. And there as well. I don't know why it pings as well. It really annoys me because it just makes me jump no matter what. I can't help it. But best of luck, Drua, says Jay. And also, Hamish, I always pick the underdogs. It's always good to see the underdogs get up. It puts a smile on my face, says Trucking Down Under for there as well. And yeah, it is very nice when you do get to see a Fijian Drua side. Definitely because it's their first season of Super Rugby as well. It just makes it that little bit better when they do end up getting themselves a win. So you would have been smiling ear to ear when they beat the Rebels, I would think. If they can get the job done up against the Western Force, that would certainly bring a few smiles to the face of Fijian Drua fans. But now we will go like that. There we go. We have got our lineups up. We're ready to go. Only a couple minutes away from this match, but they are just showing the starting lineups once again. The exorcism of Emily Rose. Have you seen that, Hamish? A must watch in there. I have not. Is it a horror movie? Because I normally jump like 10 meters. I mean, you saw me jump at my microphone. So I feel like that tells you how good I am at watching horror movies. I feel like that curtain's very red today, isn't it? It's actually reflecting onto my ear. And also, we have got there, can you read my last message? I will try my best. We have got there, you not see any messages. I am doing a live stream. So this is Brandon. And also, best of luck, Drua, from Jay a little bit earlier on. I'm on my new plush rug with a heating pad and a cone. Yeah, yeet. And this is Katie Dixon. That one, but currently we will put this here. And we will show you guys the starting lineups for these two sides. Again, like I mentioned, the first of 3 games of Super Rugby that we will get to see today. The first team lineup that we are looking at is the Fijian Drua, the home side here at LEICHHART Oval. Olia Kepa Dolakoto and Tawaka as the front row. Then it is Tui Afalele is there at number 4. His name just doesn't roll off my tongue too well, unfortunately, at this stage. Tarika Davida there at 5. Tamani Nagusa and Mira as the 3. And Nagusa is the captain for the Fijian Drua for this matchup. Frank Lamani starting at 9. Titatila there at 10. Ravovo Vota. Now, Ravovo, he almost scored himself an absolutely sensational try in the last match, but unfortunately just ran out of gas just before making it to the try line. Habosi and Ravu Taumada, who has been scoring a few tries for himself as of late. And then it is at the back, Matai Thiwa, loading in at number 15. Then for the Western Force, we look through very quickly. Lloyd, Kaitu'u, and Greg Holmes as the front row. So no Santiago Medrano in the starting lineup, but he will be coming off the bench for this game. Instead, Jeremy Thrush returning to the side. And then Isaac Rodder slotting in at 5. Fergus Lee Warner, Ollie Kalin, and Bernard Stunder there at number 8. Pryor McIntyre as the 19 combo. Coenzel gets his first start of the season. He will be at 12 rather than Kyle Godwin. Richikawi at 13. The ever-experienced veteran Ralston and Mataeli out on either wing. And then Strawn will be slotting in there at number 15 for this game. And Dave, I've seen the movie. It's pretty wild in the SC Trucking Down Under. And I was like, yes, it is, bro. It will freak you out. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm trying to think of a movie. What did I get jump scared at the other day? That was like PG. And I was like, this isn't good enough. I shouldn't be getting jump scared at things that are made for children. But, I mean, maybe we do a reaction to it. How we just have it that, like, you guys can't see it. Or maybe we do, like, a live watch-along. See how it goes. Also, I'm busy. Do you know why? I assume it's because of all the streams you have been telling me about. And also, we have got there all the best. And there, and Toso from Kaliti there. And now the Fijian Drua about to make their way out onto the field. Hamish, I have to ask, who do you follow in Super Rugby in the NRL? Says Trucking Down Under. So Super Rugby, I always find it very hard to pick because in my like current location of the country, I'm halfway in between the Crusaders and the Highlanders. So it's always very tough to pick. Like I would probably say if I had to pick one of those two sides I always find it hard to say that I'm a Crusaders fan just because I don't really get behind them that much. I mean, I quite enjoy watching the Chiefs, to be fair. They're probably my favorite team lately, which probably isn't a good thing because they are from the North Island compared to the South Island, where I am located currently. But the Chiefs, they are a very good side to watch. NRL-wise, I should go for the Warriors, but I think I've got a bit more of a soft spot for the Roosters just because I love watching James Tedesco play. And I think that's been the case for a very long time. So I'd say the Roosters and the Chiefs if I had to pick, but I am always pretty impartial for matchups. Because I know you're a Tigers man. Who's your Super Rugby team trucking? Do you let me know how much is PG jump skis in there? And everyone, how are you all? I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. So Waimini is like a border town. And there says David the Mod, little bit. So pretty much we're on the coast of New Zealand, halfway in between. If you know where Timaru and Oamaru is, we're kind of halfway smack bang in the middle, slightly inland. So we haven't really got like too much here overall. Like it's 2.5 hours to Dunedin. It's probably 2.5 hours to Christchurch. And also you're the opposite to me. I'm in the North Island. Who goes to the Crusaders? Says Simon Hughes. So I guess we're just supporting each other's home sides, I guess you could say. You up the Roosters, the LA there. I seem to get you right when the game starts. You're very strategic with it, that is for sure. And also we have got the hey RDA brother. How you do, says Katie Dixon to Paddy Wagon. But currently the Fijian Drua looking fired up here at LEICHHART Oval. They have come off one victory. They lost last week's fixture up against the Reds, but boy, they were close to being able to get themselves the win. Oh, you'll have to wait and see how they do end up going. We've also got Drew for the win a little bit early on from Max in there, and also we have got what other messages? Yeah, and when you get to the part in the movie where she's on the floor at college, that's what I look like right now, says Katie Dixon. And also I'm all right, although better or a bit better than most of the last few days in there. And now the Fijian Drua, they are certainly laying down the challenge to the Western Force, who will be nervous for this one. But now the time is going to be ready for a game. That was not a really good sentence. I don't know where I was going with that one. The time is going to be ready for a game. It's kind of how time works. Definitely when a rugby game is going to be starting at a certain time. And I made that reference so much because I also love American Westerns. And there says David the Mod. I see, I feel like I haven't watched a good Western in a while either. The last Western movie I probably watched was A Million Ways to Die in the West, which isn't really considered as a pure Western, I guess you could say. I back the Drua, but the Force will win 29-21, okay? So you're saying relatively close game. Nick Berry will be in charge of this one. Got himself a new haircut, probably trying to make sure that no one recognizes him because he isn't the most popular referee in the world at the moment. Just us, Rassi Erasmus, but we're ready to go now for this match. It will be Tititela. We'll be kicking this one off here for the Fijian Drua in the first game of the Saturday as well, but it is going to be kicked off, and it is deep into the 22, taken nicely. I believe it was Jake Strawn who did end up taking a knee, but then putting it way downfield into touch. So a good clearing kick straight away for the Fijian Drua to now have a good attacking line out. Okay, they're just saying that it was a little bit wet earlier on, but it seems to be all right for this game now. And how you doing? Are you doing today, Amish? I just wake up. And there is so I mean, to be fair, I only just woke up as well. I got up at about 3:30, and that is because we have got our last live stream finishing at 11 in the morning. So I thought if I don't sleep now, then I'll probably end up getting tired off the back. Now it will be the captain there in the form of Namani Nagusa. Continuing to drive his way forward, it is Chirika Davita. He doesn't have the ball. No, in fact, it was his teammate. It's a penalty, though, to the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani tries to take the quick tap. Did end up smacking it straight into I think it had a Western Force player, in fact. And I got to see the ref. He is indeed. And I mean, like, that's probably the perfect example of what people think of Nick Berry straight away. And also the missing Jeremiah Johnson. There will be blood. Any Clint Eastwood movie. All good Westerns. There are so many more. And there says Katie Dixon. Now kick for the touchline from Tititela. It's a very high kick. And I believe it's only going to be about 5 meters out. But he ended up getting wrestled down. Feliti Kaitu went in for the ball. But I believe it was that the hands just went down a little bit prior. So that is why he wasn't able to go for it there. And I'm going to be like you this week. And there says Brandon, but now only 7 meters out from the line. There's going to be Dolakoto, who will now be throwing it into the back. It's gone over the top. It's going to be in the hands of Feliti Kaitu, who's wrestled down by Frank Lamani. So a mistake at line-out time by the Fijian Drua. Not what they would have been wanting in the early stages of this match. As once you give the Western Force momentum, when it comes to that line out, then they can keep on taking it with Thrush and also Isaac Rodder. That's kick downfield, good clearing kick from Ian Pryor, and now 45 metres out, the Fijian Drua are once again going to have the line out. 2 minutes into this game, it's already started at a frantic pace. Even though we've had 2 lineouts, it is still seeming like both of these sides are going to be pushing the pace throughout this one. But lineouts last week total, they did win 12 out of their 10 lineouts last week. And Clint Eastwood is an icon. He's so cool. Those spaghetti westerns are made. He made now classics in there. See, David, are they actually called spaghetti westerns, or is that just like what it is referred to? And not in a bad one. I say in bed. There's Brandon, but that one was not straight, unfortunately, for the Fijian Drua. So it just gets a little bit worse for them. Chirika DeVito, I do see he's actually got the number 5 on his back. Now, he has been rocking the number 29 the last couple of weeks. Like pretty much any random number that they can find that is above the 23, that is the number that Chirika DeVito has been having. But now the scrum feed in favour of the Western Force. I really hope we do get to see a lot smoother of a game when it comes to scrum time than we did get to see yesterday for the game between the Reds and the Brumbies. It was just a little bit too start-stop. I think we had about 7 or 8 scrum resets, which always use it up extra time. That's going to be another scrum reset here. I probably jinxed that, unfortunately. And also we have got there, why you're not commentary Women's World Cup, and there says UPSC. Unfortunately, those games, with the amount of time that we have got, I guess that they take, and also the amount of time that we are going to be talking for the weekend, it would just be a little bit too much for the vocal cords. But I was going to be doing it for the semi-finals and finals if the New Zealand women's side made it through, but unfortunately it does seem like they're going to be missing out, possibly here. And also the other side of it for the Women's World Cup is there is another YouTube channel that pretty much just keeps an eye on us, and anytime we do something World Cup related, they copyright strike us. So that's why we haven't actually done any of those games. That's probably the main reason, not so much for the voice, but that is going to be now the penalty in favour of, I believe it was Tawaki, who was able to get himself over there. And also greetings from Malaysia, says he, mate Troy, welcome in, Italian directors. I see. And also spaghetti western is a slang term for western made by the Italians. And also we are doing 2 live streams in a row. There's Brandon there, but that one's gone into touch now. And the Western Force, they will be back under pressure. It's pretty much been all the Drua so far. They were able to get themselves the penalty against the scrum feed for Tawaka. I was trying to stop myself from yawning there. I think I did an all right job. And Badolakoto now throwing it in. Taken nicely. And now Frank Lamani going across the Ravovos. A crash ball individual. And also we've got their White Ferns still have a chance to get in still. So hopefully they do end up making it through. Although I know that if they qualify 4th, they've got Australia, which is going to be a very tough game to have as your quarterfinal fixture. Isaac Rodder wrestling the man down. It ended up falling forward up the draw. Says Rio, game of penalty to the Western Force. It's going to be just outside of the 22. I believe that is Harry Lloyd who's got in there and won it. And also, what's the other channel? I'll go over there and raise hell. Says chuck it down under. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I could easily tell you guys what the channel is, but even though they like copyright struck us for the Cricket World Cup, the men's one, I just don't want to get involved in it too much overall. Like, the thing is, all I'm going to say is they shouldn't need to copyright strike channels that have like 20 people watching at a time, because they have got over 400,000 subscribers now, I believe. So it's like, what was the point? Overall, they were just like, hey, he's using our content, even though it's just him. So we'll copyright strike it, or copyright strike him, and then we won't take it away. So YouTube have to take it away. And talking about the Rat Kiwi lad, says Katie Dixon, I guess so. In that case, also, we did have a bad game, so hopefully we put up a good fight this time. And never say they can't, says Betty Wagon. Now going forward, it's going to be a bit loose for Litikai too, having to jump back on that one. Ravovo putting pressure on him, 40 metres out from the line. Now the Western Force going short side. Manasa Mataeli cut him back on the inside, unable to link up where it was young Byron Ralston. Was on his outside, short ball from, was Greg Holmes, gives it off to Faliti Kaituu. Now going back out the back line, big hit there on Harry Lloyd. And that is one thing that you know when you're in a game with the Fijians, you're going to have a few broken bones the next day. Well, maybe not broken bones, but bruised. That is for sure. Now good clean out from the Fijian Drua, still available now. Pryor goes back to Stunder, floating it back across the big Fergus Lee Warner. And yes, also, yeah, once the gentleman trucking will go and F them up, says Jay. And the thing is, I know you guys would as well. But then I don't know whether or not that would make them more tempted to look at our channel more or not. And I think I've come across that channel, Amish says, David, you probably have. It's not a very hard one to find overall, but yeah, I have no idea why they decided that they needed to strike us. Because the other side of it that I find almost amusing is the fact that it wasn't like it was 20 random people watching our cricket live stream. It was 20 of the subscribers of the channel who wouldn't watch the game anywhere else. So it's not like they were going to gain anything from taking us down, other than just, I guess, inflating their own ego just a little bit more than it already was. And believe it or not, I haven't watched that many John Wayne movies, says Katie Dixon, but now Dolakoto throws it in, nicely taken by the Drua. Lamani goes back across Teller, first receiver, and Vovo, who is literally a crash ball specialist. He will just keep on going and going and going. 40 metres out, Frank Lamani puts up the box kick now. It's going to be chased hard here by the number 14 on this one. Ravo Tamato not quite able to take it inside of the 22. Now Pryor, a lot of pressure on him. Strawn has to go back across. It's over the head of Richard Kahi, but now out to the youngster. Ralston gives it back on the inside to Kahi, who's dragged down still inside of the 22. Good pressure from the Drua. Be able to keep this one alive. Do you think going to win? And a Rugby 7 says, Brandon, I know that the New Zealand side have got quite a few young players. I don't know if I'm not wrong. That was an extremely long yawn. And also, I'm more of a Wes Anderson kind of girl. And there, as says Katie Dixon, I don't know who these people are. I probably should. I need to watch more movies, I think, is all that I learn every time I go on a live stream. What's the channel that Jay is mod on? I'm going there. I see what he does in there, says Betty Wagon. A channel that Jay is mod on. I assume that's the big one. What's the big channel's name, Jay, that you are a moderator on? I think is what Patty is asking for that one. But currently now it is going to be not straight for the Fijian draw once again. Dolakoto makes the mistake, sadly. And it's one of those ones that the Fijian draw, they need to get it right. Be right back. And there's SJ as well. But Dolakoto, that one wasn't too bad. Overall feeling like that was probably a little bit harsh from there, but it did end up swinging a little bit away, maybe in the breeze. That was another yawn. I feel like I'm getting all my yawns out of the way now so that I don't have to yawn at like 5 a.m. As I see now, says David Mod. That's quite fun to say, isn't it? Definitely if you say David Mod rather than David the Mod. But even with the, still sounds pretty good. Now going to the short side. Now stepping on the inside. Not quite working out for him though, because Damani has been able to wrestle him down. He tries to get up and go again. And now still going to be available. And also, I'm a man. And there says David the Mod to Jay Hayes. Now going back across the back line here for the Western Force. It looks like they're drawn in. Now big contact between it was once again Ravatamade. He win again. He did end up dropping that ball, Manasa Mateli. And because of it, the Fijian draw now have themselves another scrum feed. Still 0-0 between these two sides at 10 minutes through this match. I watched remakes of John Wayne movies. Jeff Bridges, True Grit was good or great. And there says Katie, I believe it was just a little knock on the ground. Just a little fumble out to the side. Martelli, and also don't be mad at me, lol, says Katie Dixon. There as well, but now Nick Berry does say whereabouts it's going to be for the scrum, and the Fijian Drua now once again are going to have that ball in hand. Still no, like I mentioned, after the 10 minutes. And also, did you see your question? Meg. Who is Meg? That is a good question. Who is Meg? I keep on thinking of Meg off Family Guy just because that's the only Meg that I can think of that I know. But now Frank Lamani feeds the ball, and it's a big push in the front row. Lamani now goes back across. And it looks like the Drua once again trying to open up this back line. Good offload from Vota. Now looking through. Titatela dragged down nicely. The Fijian Drua has been pretty good with their ball retention throughout this one. They've kicked that one in behind, but it just sits up nicely for Jake Strawn. They're giving that ball away, but it is nicely done by the Drua. Now counter ruck. It's a penalty, though, to the Western Force. So one of the players ended up just slightly losing his footing there. And now the Western Force more than likely will kick this one for the touchline. So it's been a stalemate. First 11 and a half minutes. Neither side willing to really give away anything. Bailey Queensland now. Yawning's happening pretty often, isn't it? That wasn't the furthest kick downfield from Bailey Queensall. It's interesting that they're going with him rather than Jake McIntyre I guess McIntyre doesn't really back his foot too well. I'd assume definitely if he was a left-footer, but I think he's right-footed. But Feleti Kaitu'u now trying to line himself up in the middle. The gap has been closed a little bit. Nick Berry saying, keep the space. But Feleti Kaitu'u about to throw this ball in, goes right into the back over the top. Nice little set play here. Kalen passes it back across. Got to attack and run. Strawn out to Manasa Mataeli. Going to use that crash ball style that he does. No, I love it. He is certainly a beast. Down the wing, it's a knock-on, though, from, I believe, there was big Jeremy Thrush. Now the Fijian Drua only a couple metres out from their line. You know they're going to run it out rather than going for the kick here, although it looks like Frank Lamani might be trying to kick it now. Pass it back across there. Wide cut-out pass. It was 4, but it's going back for the initial scrum. I was just going to use the letter M that's there, but or some connotations, with that. Murder and Maggot, Moron, etc. Jeff Bridges played that part well. And this is Dava the Mod there. And also, who is the more abused TV character, Meg Griffin or Wesley Crusher? That name should ring a bell. Wesley Crusher. Wesley. Who is Wesley? Wesley. My brain is blank today. I have learned. I feel like not much is going in and a lot is coming out. At this stage, and also Amelia said, I welcome into Livestream. Hope you are doing well. Hope you have been enjoying your work and study. I believe you are doing at the moment, aren't you? A little bit of the combo with the 2 hours that you do have to travel to work. And that is very impressive indeed. Now, Frank Lamani, we put it in the ball now. Be available at the back, although the front rows have gone down. It's another scrum reset. Boys, what's going on? It seems to be every game at the moment is affected by about 10 scrum resets. I feel like if neither side know how to scrummage, just give away some penalties and get on with it. Because it seems to be just repeated infringements from both sides. And then the referee in the last game was like, if you guys do it again, someone's going to the bin. They did it 4 more times. He was like, oh, well. And I'm currently watching the AFL right now. Says Amelia there. Let's do your one question. Yes, what is your favorite car? Kiwi's car B. I do the mod car C. Brandon car. And there as well, says Brandon. But now it is going to be pushed forward. And also the Big Bang Theory. But he started out on Star Trek The Next Generation. And there. Wesley Crusher. Is he the... Wait, no, Wesley. I was going to say, is he the comic book guy off Big Bang Theory? But that's... What's his face? That was Harry Potter, Ron Weasley. And there's us Sunday there. Frank Lamani just outside of the 22. Puts the ball high. It's going to be hanging in the air for a long time. Taken beautifully by the Fijian Drua. I believe that was taking the player down in the air for Feleti Kaitu'u. But they are going to be playing on. Charge down there for Frank Lamani. And now Jeremy Thrush has been able to get this ball back. 40 metres out from the line. Jake McIntyre flinging the wide pass. Now Bailey Coenzel going for the kick in behind. Looking for the 50-22 pass. But he was inside of the half. And now taken beautifully out on the wing. And now Hobossi kicks it just straight down. I'm watching the mighty Geelong Cats against the Bombers. And there it's, Will Wheaton. Or Will Wheaton. That is his name, isn't it? Will Wheaton. What's the comic book guy's name? Because I know that it's something, but I can't remember it, which is normally the case with a lot of people's names. That's going to be very well kept in the field of play here for the Western Force. Now available for Feleti Kaitu'u, trying to spin out of the tackle. Ian Pryor, a lot of pressure here from the Fijian Drua with the counter ruck, and they've been able to take it straight back. Brilliantly done by the Drua. Little knock on, though. And it is going to be going back for the scrum feed now. And also, I was hit by a car, brother. I don't like cars, says Katie Dixon. Probably a fair enough statement there. Well, the Irish come to New Zealand for the July Test Series. By the sounds of it, that is still going ahead. I hope it does, because we've also got not just July Test Series between New Zealand and Australia. It's also going to be Australia versus England and Wales versus South Africa. So 3 big ones, and it's actually getting closer and closer. That one time I'll have to miss a Rebels game this season is tonight, because I'm going to be going to the Melbourne Derby between City and Victory as well, says Amelia. Yeah, it sounds like it should be a very good one. The AFL did start last weekend, this week. I think it started this week, didn't it? So hopefully we do get a chance of maybe one day doing a game of the AFL on the QLAD Sport channel, perhaps, in the future. But anyone who isn't subscribed to that channel, it is the pinned comment. That's going to be the free kick now for the Western Force at scrum time. And they want another scrum. Why? And also this week as well. And also Subnum has said, you suck right back at you, mate. And also we have got there still own the comic book store. And that is his name. And also, we've got a question for you, Hamish. What is your favourite rugby? Good game at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. I don't know. And this is Brandon. The final was very good. England versus South Africa for that final. Also, as much as it pains me to say, it was actually a very good one between the between New Zealand and England for the semi-final. Yes, we lost it, but it was still like a game that just New Zealand got pretty much taken to it. As I haven't seen the SC Southern and also great finals to the Six Nations. It's going to be almost like a semi-final with England, or England-France is definitely the final, but semi-final would be Scotland versus Ireland. See how it does end up sitting. That one in AFL starts on Wednesday night. Simon Hughes in the July series will go ahead. TV deals and fixtures will be paid because I'll lose money if these things don't go ahead, says Simon. Yeah, exactly right. And even if they have to reschedule it to somewhere else, they'll still make sure that it happens type thing. There's going to be another penalty to the Western Force. Ulia Kepa not staying straight in the scrum, which means hopefully they kick it for the corner here, the Western Force, rather than going for a scrum again. Okay, they are going to be going for it. Okay, Feliti Kaitu, he's got to tie the bootlace. They are saying that they are going to give him a second to get that job done. And also we have got there, what are you on about, Muppet, is David, for that one as well. Breaking off the back. It was actually Fergus Lee Warner. Now the rolling maul about to be set up here for the Western Force. But we're currently sitting 18 minutes into this game. And it seems like this might be the next try just around the corner. The first try of the match as well. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. And your live stream is playing up as well, says Brandon. And there, that's not ideal. Although at this stage, I see that it still says that we're all good. In terms of normally, if it is glitching out, it will show me up in the top corner saying that I've got a few less bars, but it seems to be all right currently. So we'll have fingers crossed that that is the way that it stays. But currently, they did mention about the light rain a little bit earlier on. It seems like it has dried up there at the moment for this game at Leichhardt Oval, 5 meters out from the line now. And it is going to be an awesome opportunity for the wall. I almost called them Waratahs, but the Western Force, Feliti Kaitu, going to throw this one in. Straight into the hands of Jeremy Thrush, now going for the rolling maul, waiting for the ball at the back. I believe he has got it. Yes, he does. It's going to be an awkwardly built rolling maul. It looks like they're trying to offload the ball back to Jeremy Thrush. And it's continuing to drive. Who's got it? It's going to be the big man Thrush. And he goes over. And big Jeremy Thrush scores the try for the Western Force. And also we have got the all good my end. And there's striking down on us. So hopefully it doesn't do bad, but Jeremy Thrush's first game back in a very long time, and he's come in and scored himself the try, the big man. 11th try, they are just saying there. But we all go like this, and we all go Western Force try scorers. Yeah, he hasn't actually been playing in the last little while, but Thrush, he saw that it was going to be a little bit of a troubling situation in the end for Feliti Kaitu. He was going to be shut down, so he just rejoined at the back of the rolling maul. Did end up setting it up beautifully. It seems fine with me where I am, and I like my head and crystal clear here. And also this game seems slow to me. It is because of all the scrum resets, I think. We seem to be seeing so many of them recently in Super Rugby. I don't know whether it's just the Australian side or whether it is also, I mean, we get a few on the Kiwi side, so I think it's scrum resets that really stop you from kind of developing the game quickly, because theoretically at this stage we should be maybe a little bit further through the game than we are, although they did start a little bit late, didn't they? But Ian Pryor now is going to be lining this one up. But I guess the big thing is, I guess it's a lot of wasted minutes in between, like the kind of structure or the rebuilding of the scrum that's going to go over from Pryor. And also I wonder where Sebastian is. I think he might be sleeping, getting ready for the Six Nations more than likely, because he has certainly, I mean, there's a lot of Six Nations coming up. We've got 6 hours of live streams for the Six Nations. In fact, it's probably closer to 7 hours. We've got 7 hours for Super Rugby as well. My voice, if it's still lasting at the end of the day, this is going to be impressive, I would say. But I'm looking forward to, that's the thing. There's so many good games coming tonight. I'm looking forward to Moana Pacifica versus the Chiefs. I feel like that will be a very good game to watch. Fergus Lee Warner gets that one just outside of the 22. I'm about to sneeze, which would be unfortunate. Brian now going back. I should probably, probably soon a Six Nation at the butt crack of dawn in there, says Katie Dixon. That one's going to get high or going to be kicked high. But I think the two other games that I'm looking forward to the most are Scotland, Ireland, because you never know what the Scottish are going to be able to do now. The Fijian Drua going for the kick of my line. That's going straight out on the forward. We go right back to where it kicked the ball from there. Well, the young number 15 and Matathiwa. And also we have got the Go Drua. And then there says Richard Singh. But yeah, having a real juggle with the ball there for Matathiwa. And I think that really threw him off. I might watch the Six Nations, just depends on how tired I am, says Amelia. So yeah, that last game, the one that will decide the Six Nations, that is going to be taking place at 9 a.m. New Zealand time. So yeah, it's going to be a very good game. I believe it's 9 a.m. anyway, rather than 7. No, it is 9 for that game. Manasa Mataeli playing a little bit more crash ball here, throwing himself at the line prior, going back across to Richard Kahui. Still going to be available here for the Force. Can they get over the line again? That's Jeremy Thrush, the big man, once again, just throwing the weight around, but he was dragged down by Tawaki in the end. Now, big step forward from Stunder, taken low by Frank Lamani, who are Scotland playing Irish. They have got Ireland in their game, so that's going to be a pretty awesome fixture, because if Ireland win that, that means that they are sitting top of the table for the Six Nations, and then it will put all the pressure back onto the French. So I'm going on. And there says Brandon, but now going back across Pryor, linking up with Greg Holmes. Pressure ball thrown to him. Decided not to pass it off. And Ulia Kipper, that looks like it's a clean turn over there for the Drua. Trying to get it straight back. I believe Pryor's going to be able to get it. Is he? No. It's going to be the penalty to the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani takes the quick tap now. Running forward, I believe. Was he back 10? No, he wasn't. And they've got another advantage, but it was a little knock on. And now it's going to be the penalty to the Fijian Drua once again. Does Frank Lamani want to take it quickly? No, he doesn't. Tititella now going to be kicking this one for the touchline, but no sign of Caleb Muntz. No sign of also missing Baden Kerr. Is nowhere to be seen on this Fijian Drua lineup for this week. Now Tititella kicks it down. Builder's a good kick as well. It almost just rolls into touch. So probably about as many meters on that kick as he could have gotten for himself. But now 23 minutes into this game, 7-0 in favour of the Western Force. So 4 tries. Oh, no, it's not actually 4 tries, is it? It's 3 tries or more than your opponent gets you the bonus point. In this competition, being within 7 gets you the losing bonus point as well. But now Dolakoto about to throw this one in for the Fijian Drua. Is it straight enough? It's wonky. And Faliti Kaiktu just jumps on it. And he's going to have that ball. Frank Lamani stealing it, though. It's a penalty. He went him through the side of the breakdown. So now the Western Force get themselves another penalty. But the young halfback Frank Lamani, he was at the Northampton Saints, like I mentioned, also has been at the Rebels in recent times. So he moves around clubs, but the Fijian Drua, I feel like this is where his home is, and he will certainly be trying to play well for them throughout this season. They've also got the other option of Matawalu, who's also available for Liti Kaitsu'u now. Going to be going through this line-out throw. And they will be about 25 metres out. Currently, seems like the Western Force. Okay, he just needs a towel on the ball. There we go. And now Feliti Kaitu about to throw it back in. It was Harry Lloyd who did tell him what it was. And did you forget to pay your internet bill there as well? Says Novbum there. I assume that it's maybe for, is that for Brandon or for myself? Because I probably do at times, to be fair. That's the thing. I remember back in the day, or not even back in the day, it was like a year ago. That's going to be the penalty now to the Western Force. This will be an easy 3 if they do want it as well. But currently, like, I think it was 2020 or so, when we used to do our live streams, each time we'd do a live stream, it would cost $10 pretty much, because I did end up buying data. And also for you, your stream froze. And there, yeah, so maybe a little bit. But yeah, pretty much anytime I did a live stream, I paid $10 to have kind of quick Wi-Fi, because our Wi-Fi was terrible. So I had to buy like a data plan on my phone and then share it with my computer so that I could then stream in slightly higher quality. But it got expensive pretty quickly overall, just to be able to do like 5 live streams a week. So that was looking at like $50 just off the get-go, just to do 5 in kind of a period. It was good when there were games taking place in the same 24 hours, because I could kind of overlap them a little bit. And also tell her for the Fijian Druas, or Flying Fijians, number 10, are better than Ben Vulavula. And there says Mr. Billy. And he does look very good in this matchup so far. Great pronunciation of the name, says JV. Thank you very much, mate. Do appreciate it. But now lining it up. Western Force do extend their lead a little bit more. 10 points to 0 here for the Western Force after 25 minutes. But the Fijian Drua, we haven't really seen too much of a couple of those big men in the back line, such as Ravovo. We've seen him have a couple little hit-ups. Also, Abisalomi Vorta. Hardly seen him throughout this game. So hopefully we do get to see him back out there and kind of getting a little bit of space soon, because if he can get the space, that is when he is at his most dangerous. And also the man on the outside, and Ravo Taumara, if he gets the opportunity, he will certainly make you pay. But so far the territory is actually completely in favour of the Western Force versus the opposition 22. The Fijian Drua have not been in the Western Forces 22, which is surprising, because they could have had one or two lineouts, but they both went wrong inside of that 22 region. Now, Richard Kahu getting one of his first runs of the day. Going back prior, the first receiver for Jake McIntyre was passed back in, so this one's not allowed to find the touchline on the forwards. A brilliant kick, though, in behind. And now the Drua only sort of 10 metres out from the line, slipping over a little bit, trying to counter run. Brilliant low tackle on him, gets back up, goes again now. And it's a bossy. He's going to be a hard man to wrestle down, but they do get him down on the 22. Lamani goes back across here. Now, big carry forward from Ulia Kepa, and the Drua might take a while to get fired up. And there, so as long as they can keep themselves in this match for long enough, it's taken nicely by Jack McIntyre, but it's gone back for the original penalty. And also, hi, bro, says Roman. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. Currently now the Drua, they will have this penalty only a few metres out from their own line. Just get downfield. How are you and your mum, bro? We are doing very well. We're excited for Pakistan versus Australia. Hopefully we get to see a result for the third one. And my dad, what time is the rugby after this one? And then says Brandon, so the next game is going to be at 7:05, and that will be Moana Pacifica taking on the Chiefs. And we are also covering that game on the channel. So anyone who is, do be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got every game of Super Rugby coming up, and very nice commentary, bro. Thank you very much, Roman. And yeah, I hope you are excited for Pakistan versus Australia as well, starting on the Monday this week, rather than the Friday or the Saturday that it did for the last one. But now it is going to be another line-out throw for Dolakoto. 13 minutes left in this first half. Frank Lamani passes it across to Tititella. Ravovo just shut down pretty quickly by Fergus Lee Warner, and also Stundu were able to wrestle him down. Frank Lamani from his back passes it nicely on the inside now, trying to break through the Fijian Drua. If they get a line break, that is normally when we see them make about 30 or 40 metres just in one run. Now, good attack and run from the captain. And then Agusa, short side Lamani. Off now, Ravovo sells the dummy. Shut down, though, by the Western Force. Isaac Rodder trying to get in there and get the ball. Unable to. Lamani goes back across. Now, good attack and run. I believe that was Vorta. Number 13 for this one. Going back across to Titella now to Rika Davita. Looking to link up on the outside. No, wasn't able to get the draw pass going. Just scatters, or doesn't scatter, just skips his way forward. And show cricket game, bro. And there says Roman. There's yeah, we are going to be doing Pakistan versus Australia. And in our future, that is forward by about half a metre. And it is going to be, unfortunately, the end of the attacking play for the Fijian Drua. Once again, I believe it was the touch judge who did call that one. But now the Western Force will have the scrum feed 45 metres out from the Drua line, with still another 10 minutes left of this first half. Okay, time is off. Yeah, going forward by maybe about a metre to 2 metres there. Unfortunately, just getting it a tad wrong there for Matathiwa. And now 28 or 29 now through this game, I should say. We have got another drinks break. It seems to be quite warm there at the moment at Leichhardt. I know that for Mount Smart Stadium, it will certainly not be as hot as it is in Australia currently, although I believe they had rain a little bit earlier on at Leichhardt. And also I was going to suggest Scotland getting all Braveheart on Ireland's ass. But it was St. Patrick's Day the other day, so either team can win. And there says David the Mod. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty exciting battle, because as the Six Nations currently stands, I'm just going to have a look through. Where is me thingy? Do I have the table here? No. Okay, I don't have the table there for the Six Nations, but I know that this game is pretty much all coming down to the last one. One moment, we will look through. Okay, I didn't actually make that table yet, so I will have to quickly get that afterwards. But the games that are taking place, we've got 3 big ones for the Six Nations. The first of which, Wales versus Italy, followed by Ireland versus Scotland. That's a big game, and if Ireland win it, then I believe they do cement themselves as first place in the Six Nations just for now. And then if France do beat England, then they are Six Nations champions, and they will have the Grand Slam. Also, if they lose that game but get a bonus point, I believe that also puts them in a decent position to be able to still win it. As you can't show any games, so this is the rugby They show ODI T20 test game. And he says, Roman, this football game, bro. And it says Roman as well. And also, I do have coffee. Do you have that with, or I have a coffee. Do you have with sugar? I haven't actually ever had a coffee. So I'm not too sure. I feel like I probably would have it with sugar, though. That's going to be the penalty now to the Western Force. Once again, it's scrum time. Please don't go down for another scrum. Using up a lot of time. At the moment, I also like football game. And then it says Roman. And also said back, the French doesn't he? Says David the Mod, although he's an Englishman. He does enjoy watching England play, but I think he also likes France. So that's going to be a tricky one for himself to pick in this matchup. But it looks like Ian Pryor now calling for the tee. Hay fever is still a thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting almost out of the hay fever season, though, which is always nice. It also is weird that I only drink hot drinks around wintertime to keep me warm, but I won't drink hot coffee, says Amelia. Not really, I guess. I guess a lot of people do drink like tea and coffee on a regular daily basis almost, but yeah, I just haven't really ever gotten into it, I guess. All right, my favorite team is Brazil, etc. And there says Roman. So they are going to be through to the World Cup by the looks of it in a decently seated position. Good kick from Pryor. Misses. Just a little bit out to the left. So the score after 30 minutes will remain at 10-0 in favour of the Western Force. But the Drua is still right in this game. And as long as they score themselves some form of points before the end of the first half, they can certainly come back to win this one. But now will be Tititella once again inside of the 22. Goes for the 22 dropout. Felici Kaitu almost able to charge it down, taken nicely there by Stunder, the big man. And nicely done once again there from the Western Force. Now McIntyre receives it there. Strawn now ball on the outside to Richard Carr, who's really not had a busy game so far. It's a penalty now to the Fijian Drua. They want the ball quickly. Oh, big shove there from Frank Lamani. He's not too happy with it, but it's been taken quickly now from the Fijian Drua. Vota on a good carry forward. Working their way just outside of the 22, and that's the thing. The Fijian Drua, they will play at such a frantic pace that you slowly just feel your legs start to fall from underneath you. Ulio Kepa back across the Tititella. They've got plenty of men on the outside if they get it right here. But the Fijians flick out the back, down the wing. Dolakoto, big contact on him by Jake McIntyre. It was pretty much just the crash pad for where he was going to be landing, but still inside of the 22 now. Frank Lamani firing it back across field. That's looking good. Meta. Gets another carry here for the Drua. Now Lamani looking for the ball on the inside. Set play almost opening up there for the Drua. Still waiting for it. Oh, I think Stunder just got a kick in the head and he didn't even feel it. But now going back across to Wake. Still trying to creep his way forward just a little bit further. 7 phases in here. Jareka DeVita drops the head, drives forward. It is good defense so far from the Western Force. Tititella now rush defense there from Jake McIntyre. Does get it right. And now they have got the pressure back. Almost lifting a player above the horizontal. Got to be careful of that. A Fijian Drua player did end up getting carded, I believe, last week for that exact thing. Now, Ulia Kepa once again going for Frank Lamani. Back across to Tawake. The crowd starting to get behind the Fijian Drua. Looking for the corner. And Bosi gets over and scores the try. And that is the first try of the match for the Fijian Drua. And it's none other than Habosi who was able to do so. It was just patient build-up from the Fijian Drua. They could have easily ended up trying to go for a kick or something in behind, but instead they were like, nah, we're going to stick to the plan. We're going to keep on attacking this line. And Ulia Kepa, who was involved in that one as well. Big run from Dolakoto down the wing. In the end, they just weren't quite able to stop that momentum. They were starting to build up over Ravovo. Out to Bossy. Pryor having to cover it. Sorry, he just didn't have the pace to be able to keep up with our Bossy, who once he starts going is a very hard man to stop. But it is the first try of the match now for the Fijian Drua, 32 minutes in. And that will give them a lot of confidence going in to the second half also. And also go Drua, says Sarah. And also, okay, yo, I got to rest these bones as I have a good one, everybody. Big love, says Cody Dixon. So we will see you later on for the Six Nations. And also we've got their football Brazil and other countries in there. And hold out on drinking caffeine, Hamish. I want you to start. There's no looking back. And thank you. It's nice to know I'm not the only one. Energy drinks are my go-to. My caffeine, says Amelia. And there as well. Yes, because that's the thing. I'm very strange in regards of, it's going to miss away to the side there for the Fijian Drua, and Tititella just doesn't quite get it over. And how's everybody doing? Says they're doing very well, mate. And also, what's that background? Says Sarah, this is actually the ground that they are playing it at. It's Leichhardt Oval. It has got almost, if you look there, an NRL logo. That is where the game is being played in F1. And it is also the Fijian Drua and Suva are getting behind them. But what was I saying? Yeah, I haven't actually ever had tea or coffee, and I haven't actually had a Red Bull or anything either. So not a lot of caffeine is consumed by myself. And much love, buddy. Says Dale the Modern. Also, I'm question for you, Hamish. When do George come over to a rugby game? I miss you, my friend, and good night, Katie Dixon. And there's a George. The next time he's coming around for a rugby game, I'd like to think will be in the next couple of weeks. It's just anytime it's the weekend currently. It's been pretty nice weather, which means that George does have to work. Like, no matter what, if it's somewhat sunny, like, that man will be out in a tractor somewhere type thing. So that is why. And also, who do you go for, lad? And says Ed, I mean, in this match, I do enjoy watching the Western Force play, but the Fijian Drua at the moment, they're just showing that passion and that heart that we expect to see from the Drua. Looks like Jake McIntyre, after that big contact down the wing with Dolakoto, has to have his head held together with some tape up on top. Now kicking off that one, and don't, mate. They're addictive as well, says David the Mod. And they're taken nicely by Mira. Just on the 22, and the Drua, that will give them the confidence. Like I mentioned, if they do score the try just before the first half or get some form of points, keeps them in the game. If they score again here, Ravovo trying to go straight through the gap. Now Lamani passes it back across. Good attack and run from the Drua. They love finding their wingers in Habosi, and also it is Ravatalmara. Now good run forward from Tetetela. Lamani off sideways, looking beautiful offloads from the Fijian Drua, and it's just support run after support run at the moment. Frank Lamani doing nicely. Bailey Coenzo almost giving away that penalty, but I don't believe he got it in the end. Ravovo gets going for tonight. Night sleep. Katie sleep well. And they're looking to the short side now. Offload over the top. It's found up Bossy once again. And this is just Fijian Drua at its finest. Offload the ball. Offload it again and hope that something sets up for yourself. But now they have jumped on this ball. It's in touch, and it will be the line out here for the Western Force Rebel. Costs like an arm and a leg. It calls a woolly, so I usually go for a can of V. Yes, a blue V is superior. And there says Emilian also, okay, I love you just how much I love George. And there's Ed Brandon into the chat as well. But it's just the offload game from the Fijian Drua. Keeps the ball alive for so long. Bailey Coenzo getting extremely lucky not to give away the penalty there. Yes, Amish, the Fijians are fascinating to watch. That brute force and also limitless energy. Yes, David. And that's the thing. They just seem to have that extra gas tank. Like when they start to find themselves in about midway through the season, which we're currently getting close to. Like at the start of the season, they weren't really willing to offload it as often because I think the stamina side of it was a factor, but they've been training hard for this Super Rugby competition. Where's Baden Kerr? It's a good question. Also, Caleb Munt's missing for this one, so I'm not sure whether or not that is injury or maybe saving him for a different game. Little pop pass from Bailey Coenzo on the inside. 45 meters out now for the Western Force. Prior back to Isaac Rodder, tackled by Mira, but it's going to be the advantage for it being just a little bit too high. Brian now going short side, quick hands, out now nicely. So it is the young winger Byron Ralston. Ryan, or running himself forward there once again. It will be Isaac Roddy. He's had his hands full with his opposition in that lock-in duo. Now Bailey Coenzo tackled out by Dolakoto. It was good video, you lads. And there's Brandon. So that will, of course, be our one from Rugby Challenge a little while ago. That also had Daniel in it, didn't it? Now I'm back for the initial penalty to the Force. Does Pryor want the 3 that will give them an 8-point lead? Or does he kick for the corner? See, I feel like with the way that the Fijian Drua have been impressing in the last little while, maybe you're better off going for the corner here. And player to watch from both teams, says Ed Vogel. For me, Ravovo is certainly one to watch in that back line for the Fijian Drua because, yes, he might not be scoring all of the tries, but he certainly helps set up a majority of them for the Fijian Drua. And also, of course, Abosi, the man who was able to get himself the try. For me, in the back line of the Western Force, so far they've actually shut down Manasa Mata Ali very well. So I'll say Byron Ralston. Probably a name that not too many people would be expecting to hear for that one, but I'd say him for it. And also, we have got their what matches are you going to stream this weekend, CZ? So the first match that we have got that is after this one is going to be Moana Pacifica versus the Chiefs, followed by the next game that we are covering on the channel, and that will be the Waratahs taking on the Rebels. Then all 3 games of the Six Nations we will be covering on the channel as well. Now it's a break, and the line for the Fijians, looking for the draw and pass. Doesn't pass it, though. didn't quite link up the way that he would have liked to. But now Fiji moving up to the halfway line. They'll be on the attack once again now. Be back available for Frank Lamani. Goes back to Teller. Flat ball off to Tamani. Big yawn. And then also maybe the URC Lions versus Munster if the vocal cord does allow it. And that one, and if we have time to set up that live stream, also ball on the inside. Ball now offloaded. And now it's a line break here for the Fijians. Frank Lamani. Who can he link up with? He slipped over. So he doesn't have to offload it back to Jarika Davida. Great phase play here by the Fijian Drua. Now they are only 10 metres out. They want to fling this one as light or as wide as possible. First of all, just taking another contact to get this one set in the back line. Now it's going wider and wider once again. Fijian Drua was their captain, and this one, Nagusa. Round the side here, it's going to be Habossi. Only 10 metres out from the line. Frank Lamani, Ollie Kalen giving away the penalty. Now off to Charika Davita, a big man who plays for Tasman and the Bunnings NBC. Frank Lamani now waiting for it. Sells the dummy, goes himself, tries to do the little pop round the side. Doesn't quite work out for him. Once again, they are just using their big forwards here, Fiji. And the thing is, there's no way this one goes out the back line if it's up to the forwards. They will not want to do so. They want to keep on piercing their way around the side of the breakdown. It's another advantage. Now Frank Lamani, that's getting very close here for the Fijian Drua. Who wants it at this point in time, trying to get up and over the top, just driving against them. And now it looks like Frank Lamani. He wants the ball available for him. It's going to be now Ravovo. Ball on the outside. No, he needed to pass that. He doesn't give it to Vota, though. And Vota unselfishly just waits for the big man who gets the legs going. And he scores the try as well. And it's Tawake who does end up picking up the try. And it's the Fijian Drua. Once again, tell you what, that could have been a draw and pass and a try a little bit earlier on if Ravovo hadn't gone himself. But Tawake still gets the try. Does end up scoring it in the 40th minute. And now the Drua, with a kick to come, could take the lead going into the second half. Just absolutely huge for them. Let's go, Drua, says Lakeside. And also Tosa, Fijian Drua Toso. As I said, Johnny Blaze, I'll come into the live stream, mate. But it's the big man, number 3. He looked like he was just going to dawdle sideways and then just took off. Used that acceleration. Manatsa Mateli wasn't going to be able to stop him because he's pretty much trying to stop a bulldozer, which is not very easy to do. Oh, potential knock on. Hang on. Might be something coming up here. Oh, if you take it away from the big man, that's going to be rough for him as well. But more than likely, they've got the advantage anyway. Right. We're looking on the ground. Looking at number 4 blue here. I think that's fine. I think that was completely fine. I don't think he knocked that one on. I think it was like bobbled on the ground, 4 picked it up, and 10 points to 6. 10 to the Titans, 6 to the Waratahs. Oh, sorry, the Warriors. And now let's go, says Brandon. Quiz for you, Hamish. What do you do? Before your live stream yesterday, says Brandon. Before the live stream yesterday, I did end up probably, other than setting up the live stream, it was also planning out the weekend that we did have here because there is plenty that we have got coming up. Oh, it's a knock on. He's rolled it from his right hand to his left hand, which was a little bit further ahead. So it means now Tawake's try is going to be disallowed. I feel bad. Anytime a prop has a disallowed try, you know how hard they work for Antosa Drua Toso. And there says Mr. Billy. So they're going to be taking it back. Okay. So it's not the end of the world, though, because the Drua have now got a yellow card against the Western Force, or the Western Force have received a yellow card, I should say there. So he's gone for 10 minutes, and now it's going to be 5 meters out, a feed of some sort for the Fijian Drua, whether that's going to be the tap, whether that's going to be the scrum, or whether they do end up. Okay, it's there. They're taking the points. They're going to take the easy 3 straight out in front of the posts. Okay, I don't think the forward pack could quite believe it. They were all ready to go for the scrum, but they have said that they're taking the points here. The Fijian Drua felt bad for Matawalu. That wasn't who scored it. It was actually Tawake. Okay. So now McIntyre has gone off. Pasatoa has gone on. That is due to an HIA as well. So it's all happening in the later stages of this first half of the matchup. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back for the next 2 fixtures of Super Rugby as well that are happening today. And Moana Pacifica taking on the Chiefs, followed by the matchup that has taken place between the Waratahs and the Rebels, which is going to be taking place at the SCG. Last time we did a game of SCG, it was actually the test match for the Ashes. That will be halftime now, and the score will be 8 points to 10. So you'd say the Fijian Drua a little bit disappointed not to be able to get that last-minute try of the first half, but they are still in a very good position to be able to go on and possibly fight their way towards a win here, if they can do so. But that is going to be the end of the first half. We'll get some stats to do with that first half, but do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what you thought of it, and also what's with the second try. And there says Ed, so pretty much they did say it was a little knock-on the ground, which then meant that he rolled the ball from his left hand to his right, or his right hand to his left hand, but it did have a slight forward roll. I still thought he had relatively good control over the ball, to be honest, but they did say it was a knock-on. And because of that now, it does mean that the try was disallowed. They still had the advantage, which meant that the Western Force had a player who went to the bin because of it. I'm just going to have a quick look and see exactly who it was, because they gave it out so quickly. I don't actually see who it was who did end up with the yellow card. Yellow card, who got it? Who's got the yellow card? We'll go down a little bit further for the discipline section. Where are we? Right, yellow card, it was... Wait, Tawake got a yellow card. Huh? Wait, so that's got to be wrong. So they've given the try scorer a yellow card. Surely that's wrong, mate. I thought it was a Western Force player who went to the bin. We're going to have to check that in the next half, I guess. And also, what's with the second try? And hello, there's Fishway. Welcome in to the live stream. And also, we have got there. Do you want to know what I do before my live stream yesterday? Says Brandon, go for it, mate. We are at halftime. So do let me know. But currently, surely they haven't yellow carded the man who scored the try. I think they did. So he must have given away an infringement earlier on or something. I don't know. We'll just go with it for now. But currently the Fijian Drua 258 meters carry compared to the Western Force, getting 186 defenders, beaten 13 for the Fijian Drua, 2 for the Western Force, and rate both teams' performance in the first half. I'd say, even though there's a lead for the Western Force, they're probably a little bit more disappointed with their performance here. So I'll go Western Force 6, Fijian Drua 7. Somewhere around there. I feel like both sides still have improvement that they can make. But, yeah, it was pretty impressive from the Fijian Drua with that offload game. Is it a good game so far? It is a lot better of a game than we did get to see last night between the Reds and the Brumbies. That game just had a few too many scrum resets. And fingers crossed that that's not going to be what we see in the second half. But there is a chance that it could be there. Also, clean breaks, 4-0 for the Fijian Drua. So all of the stats-wise, they have actually been dominating, really, other than the scoreboard. Tackles made. They've actually only missed the 2 tackles so far for the Fijian Drua of the 57 that they have made. 13 tackles missed of 77 for the Western Force there as well. And then also looking throughout the penalties, 7 against the Western Force, 7 against the Fijian Drua, 8 against the Western Force, and the 1 yellow card against the Fijian Drua. And also, hello, says Noel Smith, welcome in the live stream and at the AFL. Can't watch the game. How's Isaac Rodder? Go and love him, says Xavier. He's been looking pretty good. He's been having a couple good crash up at the line, although, of course, when you're going up against the Fijians, you normally get driven backwards. But I can tell you, he's had 1 meter carried from 4 carries. That seems pretty harsh. And also, he has made 2 passes. I think it's more in the tackling department that he's been busy. He's got 9 tackles made, so he has been pretty busy on defence throughout this game. 12 tackles made by Fergus Lee Warner, a bit of an unsung hero there for the Western Force. Also making quite a few tackles, it was Nagusa, the captain for the Fijian Drua, and then also doing decently, it was Tuifailele and also Tawaki, both making 6 each, and that was very nicely done. No turnovers won by either side other than the one for Harry Lloyd. That is literally the only turnover we have seen that has been successful throughout this game. But also looking at running meters, Manasa Mateeli, 54 runs so far for the Fijian Drua. Also, what's up? Yeah, man, I am Brax as well. And there, says Noah Smith. So, yeah, this stage, hopefully, the second half is going to be a very exciting one. And I hope you are excited for next week when we get to see the Chiefs taking on the Crusaders again. Unfortunately, didn't get to see the game between the Crusaders and the Blues this week. And I was talking to my people, or talking to the people who do a show. I think do a woman game, and the show's not coming for this month. And there, and also who's going to score the next try, says Ed. I will go with. It's a tricky one. I'm going to go with either Ravovo, or I will be going with, who else we got? I'll go with Feleti Kaitu'u. I think the rolling more of the Western Force is going to be one of their key areas for the second half, because it did end up scoring them their first try, and that was in the form of Jeremy Thrush. Did end up joining at the back, and it just went forward nicely round the side. The Fijian Drua, they were trying to stop it, but they just couldn't stop the big man. I want to play Rugby 22. Braxton says, no, it's moving. Come on, Fiji. Can you say hello to T? Please, thank you very much, this Tiger. Also, shout out to T. Hope you are doing well, mate. Hope you are enjoying the Super Rugby competition. So far that we have had 27 metres for Fergus Lee Warner, I should also mention. And then Byron Ralston having 35. Looking through at the Fijian Drua. Very impressive performance from Ravu Taumata, who did have 65 metres carried from 5 carries. 3 defenders beat him, 1 clean break. It's been looking very good so far. And then alongside him, Habosi out on the other wing. 59 metres carried, 6 carries, 3 defenders beat him, 1 clean break. Whereas Fiji on top now. And also waits a draw. Guy got the yellow card, apparently. And I don't know how. So I don't know why, but apparently it was for back-to-back infringements or something. I have no idea how it works. I was a Braxy annoying little kid. That was on the other channel yesterday. I'm a bit in there as well. Says that JAs, and also we have got there. What do you say after I say my live stream? I know you're busy or something. And there says Brandon. Yes. And highlight of the first half game, says Ed Fogel. I would say highlight for me was just the offload after offload from the Fijian Drua. It just looked very impressive. And also, did I miss out on anything? Amish says, Fish, not hugely, other than we had a few scrum resets, but then also, like the couple tries that we did see scored, Fijian Drua are looking dangerous. They almost had themselves another try, but it was disallowed in the end. And now it is sitting at halftime. The Western Force going to need to get themselves into this game very early on, and also needed that last try for Fiji, says Neville. They did. And if they did have it, they would have been in the league, definitely because they now have ended up with a yellow card. Although I think they gave that to the wrong side. I believe it was actually the Western Force player who got the yellow card. They've just got that round the wrong way just a little bit. Surely it's not a yellow card, though. I'm just going to have another look. A moment. We'll go like this, because if that is a yellow card for the Fijian Drua, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. No, it was Ollie Kalin who got the yellow card, so that was wrong on the website. It was Ollie Kalin who got penalised and got himself the yellow. What's up, Amy? How's your day been going pretty well. And what do you reckon the score margin is for this match? I'd say less than 7. Also, and also we have got there. Can you tell me what the at say? Says Brandon, what the at say? What the cat say? Hat say? Something say? I've got my green screen hat once again. It can make me disappear, which is pretty cool. I just had to put it in the right place, and then all of a sudden, boom. All of a sudden, I'm no longer here. I'm just missing. Looks like we're just looking at the NRL field in the background, and then all of a sudden, Bob's your uncle. Here I am. Also, yellow card was to Ollie Kalin. It was. But for some reason on Super Rugby's channel, they actually gave it to Atawake, which seemed pretty rough. They said, hey, you didn't score your try, so here's a yellow for you just for your troubles. But yeah, Ollie Kalin did end up with the yellow card. 8 offloads for the Fijian Drua compared to the 2 of the Force. And now possession 57% in favour of the Drua. Territory 57% in favour of the Force. And also time of the opposition 22. It is 2 minutes 15 for the Drua. And that's pretty impressive because in that situation, they did actually have it in the first 20 minutes or so. The Drua hadn't made any visits to the 22, but 7+ phases. The Fijian Drua have had 4 so far. Line breaks 4-0. Tackles made 50, and they haven't missed too many at all, which has been very impressive. And what do you say? Tell me. And there says Brandon. Can you tell me what? Yeah, I feel like I'll be honest, I'm very confused, Brandon, at this stage. So you may have to give me a little bit more information. Sorry. That one of Fijian Flair incoming in the second half. Says Neville Singh there. And yeah, that's the thing. At the end of that first, it seems like the Fijian Drua are just starting to warm themselves up. And when they're warmed up, opposition sides crumble because they can't keep up with that elusive pace and power that the Fijian Druas have in their side. Like, that's the thing. Coming off their bench, I'll also show you guys the bench that they have got coming up on this match. One moment, we will go like that, and we will go like that. So it is Tugitama also, or Togiatama, sorry, Karoi Dua, Saulo Manibi, and also Salawa Matawalu, Balatha, and Ratave. That is the replacements for the Fijian Drua. For the Western Force, they've got Andrew Reddy, Abra, Santiago Medrano. Also, it is going to be Pew, and then Anstey, Fines, Pasatoa, and then Makara is slotting in there at number 15. Or sorry, not number 15, but number 23 for this matchup as well. And then I just got after I say what I was doing. And then it says, Brandon, I assume it is about your live streams. I'm also confused, says Jay. I say, yeah, not the only one in that situation. And also, Bossy has been performing well. He has been. And then out on the other wing, I'll also give the quick shout out. Oh, I'm frozen. Am I frozen for you guys as well? Okay, now I'm not frozen. That was weird. I ended up turning into a statue for half a second there. But on the other wing, it was Avrava Talmada. It's been looking pretty good. The weird thing is, it wasn't even like the internet side of it. It was just I think my webcam's getting old, which is why I bought a new one, but I haven't switched over to it as of yet. But I also probably do need to very soon, because this one seems like it's trying to tell me something, which is that it doesn't like me very much and keeps on trying to freeze. But currently, we're not too far away from the second half getting underway of this match, ladies and gentlemen. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated, all the support you guys have been showing. And we have got plenty more live streams coming, not just this weekend, but in general. We are going to have the matches that are taking place for the Six Nations for Super Rugby. We're doing the test match between Pakistan and Australia next week. We've got the URC coming up. We have also got the Gallagher Premiership making a return to the channel very soon. And Fire Drua Fire. And how many tries we see in the second half? My guess, not more than 3, says Ed. Okay. So just to be different, I'll go 4. I'll go a little bit more. I feel like the Fijian Drua will get a couple, and then also the Western Force. They'll get one off a rolling maul, and then the other one will be from other means of some sort. Not sure how they'll do it, but I feel like they've got the capabilities of being able to do it if they do end up getting it right. I'm just going to have a quick look at how the odds are sitting currently in this match. See what we are sitting at. I believe the Drua will still be underdogs as they were heading into this game. Fijian Drua, $2.35, so they're a little bit closer in this one, but Moana Pacific are certainly huge underdogs in the next one, that is for sure. Currently, we will go here, and we will put that there. There we go. And also, we've got that. Will the Blues and Crusaders play another time? I believe they do reschedule that game, so maybe it's a midweek one, maybe about a Thursday or something when they have a Sunday game. I think they'll be looking into that for Super Rugby and work out where they can fit in extra games for the sides who have been impacted by cancellations and also postponements, although not too many games have actually been postponed or not actually been cancelled, sorry, I should say. Everything seems to be postponed rather than the cancel side of it, which is good to see, because or else then you do get into just playing catch up, trying to work out who gets points, who doesn't get points, and can just get very, I guess, awkward. And that one is also great. You're wanting Cicero into that one. Yeah, we do end up yawning quite a bit. It's not because of the rugby, though. It's just because I do end up, I guess, just yawning. Unfortunately, it seems to just be one of those ones that just seems to kick in because of the lights, I think it is. And but currently now just waiting for the second half to get back underway and at this fixture. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And also, where is it held at? It is played at, where are we? At the moment, we are playing at LEICHHART OVAL is the name there. So they aren't quite at home yet, but I believe it's coming up relatively soon that they will have themselves a home game, which will be pretty awesome to see for the Fijian Drua playing in Fiji in front of a home crowd. Going to be absolutely awesome for them. But currently now, this is actually considered as their home game. But they are sitting there 8 points to 10. They're just a little bit down currently, but they have certainly got the potential to be able to bring themselves back up. And thoughts on the Reds Brumbies game yesterday? It was a bit rough overall. I think there were way too many scrum resets rather than just penalties being ensued. We probably had about 15 minutes of waiting for scrums throughout that fixture. So I think they need to find a way of keeping that speeding along because it just killed all momentum of that game. It was a good game overall with the fact that it was close. like those games always are. But yeah, a little bit more free-flowingness would have gone a long way in that one, I feel. And Skolmana Drua in there as well. And also 50 likes, surely, says Neville Singh. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to leave a like on this live stream and subscribe. I see Pasatoa is going to be starting the second half. That is due to Jake McIntyre not being able to make his way back out onto the field and score a try. And there's Cesar and the Drua hanging in there. They are. And those extra few points that they got at the end of the first half, I think, will be key for them heading into the second now. They still look fresh. They still look ready to go. And the second half now is about to be underway for the Fijian Drua and the Western Force. Can the Drua do it and continue their hopes of making it to the top 8 of the Super Rugby competition? It's big contact there from Feleti Kaitu straight away on the Fijian Drua. But Frank Lamani now going to be rolling this ball back. So Ollie Kalin will be off the field for the next 10 minutes of this match, ladies and gentlemen. Because of that, the Drua do have the man advantage. Another big yawn. Nicely taken there by the youngster. Ralston gets back to his feet. In fact, it's Strawn. Ball on the outside now. Nicely done. Continuing to drive forward now for the Western Force, looking to start this half the same way that they were able to get a try in about the middle stage of that first. Thunder trying to spin out of the tackle. Up to 25 out. Isaac Rodder now with a good attack and run has been wrestled down by Mira. Prior back to Pasatoa. Straightening with that one was Fergus Lee Warner. And at the moment, there's been some good phase play throughout this match for both sides. I did mention there was a little bit of rain a bit earlier on in the day, but it seems like you wouldn't even know it the way that these two sides are going, because it's actually a very early afternoon game over there, I believe. It's probably only sitting about 3:30 p.m. In the region, but Greg Holmes offloads the ball back. Fergus Lee Warner was about to get that pass from Rodder, but doesn't receive it in the end. Pryor now up to the 22, almost 10 phases in here for the Western Force. Quick hands out to Stunder. Good attack and run. Ravovo drags him down. Pryor now back across the rush, or thrush indeed it was. It's just phase after phase. Ruthless attack here from the Force, trying to pierce their way through. Good attack and run from Pasatoa, who does straight in the young fly half. Now Pryor around the side. Passing it back, bounce past Manasa Mateli, wrestled down low by Frank Lamani, still available for the Western Force up to 13 phases now. And it will be now Quinzel. There's carried forward. Now going back across. Still ready for it as the Western Force looking wide out to Manasa Mateli. Another big carry from him. They just don't seem to be able to get through, though, the Western Force. They're using the big forwards, and Isaac Rodder does creep forward by just a little bit more. 10 metres out for Feleti Kaitu. Doesn't pick and go around the side. Still for them. Jeremy Thrush getting up, almost getting his second try of the match. Now passing it back across. Fergus Lee Warner trying to get the leg drive going. Wrestled backwards by the Fijian Drua. Up to 20 phases now. Greg Holmes around the side. They've got the advantage as well. Now down for Stunder. Metre short. Feleti Kaitu wants it, passes it back. Fergus Lee Warner. He's close. He gets it down. And it's a try to Fergus Lee Warner. Does end up getting it. He's had to work hard. He's almost had the headgear or the tape taken off his head, but he has been able to get himself the try. An advantage Firetail. There's Cesar, and also good stream so far. He should be a Conte as well. And there, but we will go like this. And we will go like this. Fergus Lee Warner gets himself the first try of the second half. And we will add his name there. But it was just 21 phases. Back to back to back. And they just kept on going. The Fijian Drua unable to turn that one over. And also up to $300 donors is Xavier. So thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciated for all your donations on the channel. And I hope you are enjoying the rugby so far. What is your score prediction for Waratahs Rebels, by the way? Do you feel the Rebels will be able to get up for this game? Or do you think it will be the Waratahs once again who are able to keep those wins flowing for them? First 10 minutes of the second half will be crucial as well. And there says Ed, and that is not the start to the second half that the Fijian Drua would have been after. That is for sure, but it is a nice try scored in the end. Now trying to line this one up. Just getting himself nicely set here. Strikes it. Pryor gets it over. And now the score is going to be 17 points to 8 for the Western Force. So a good start to the second half for themselves. And now it looks like Fergus Lee Warner has to get more tape on his head because he's just had to be patched up many, many times over and over again at this point in time. But the Western Force, they will be looking to try and get themselves towards a bonus point win here. It would be absolutely huge for them. Can't wait. The Rebels game at the Melbourne Victory versus City game, but I think Rebels lose 30-10 And there says Xavier, do you think Andrew Callaway scores this week? Or do you think he'll have to wait a little bit longer? Do let me know. But Pasatoa now going to be looking for the touchline. Does just that. Good kick of the ball. Doesn't go out, though. Now it's going to be available for the Fijian Drua on the halfway line. Ravovo does go himself. Brilliant run from Ravovo. He's got the man in support. He's looking at Frank Lamani. Goes himself. He doesn't really like passing, but Lamani goes. And he scores a try now for the Fijian Drua. And that is how you counter back. You just score a try straight away. And that was brilliantly done. He could have passed it off to Vota on the outside if he did need him, but he didn't. Frank Lamani scores it. And there you go. Straight back in the match. Just a kick downfield. Didn't find touch in 44 minutes into this game now. We've already had 2 tries in the second half, the same amount as we had in the first. We are certainly in for a treat for the second half, and also hopefully Callaway can score in there. But it was a good run forward from Ravovo. He didn't end up linking up with anyone, but then from there, Frank Lamani goes around the side, scores a try, and the Drua are back in this match now with the score being 13 points to 17. And if that one phase doesn't sum up the Fijian Drua in Super Rugby, I don't know what would. It just shows you give them half an inch when you think that you've got the momentum. They have a massive run up the middle of the field, find an offload, and then Frank Lamani does end up scoring the try. He almost got tackled by Vota before he crossed the line. He was after the ball there. But now straight out in front, kicks it over, 15 points to 17. And we're back to where we were sitting at halftime. Just a team has both got themselves an extra point each, or an extra try converted. And now 46 minutes in, 17 points to the Force, 15 for the Fijian Drua. It looks like it is the families. He kind of looks like Manasa Mataeli, so I feel like that could be his brother or maybe his cousin or something along those lines, because I think they mentioned that it is the family members that they have got set up there. And also, Hamish, do you think White Ferns are out of the World Cup following loss to Proteas? Or any outside chances still there? I think they still have half a chance, but it's still going to be very tough for them. That one's kicked out on the full. So it's going to go all the way back now for the line-out throw from inside of the 22, and it's another opportunity now for the Western Force. It's taken right back. I believe that will be about 15 metres out from the line. So now it could be a counter-attack for the Western Force. Currently, it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in this matchup. And I feel like it is Super Rugby Pacific at its finest. Faliti Kaitu'u now got the line-out throw. Just need to make sure that he gets this one right. They go to the back, taken nicely by Thrush. Brian now going back across. And the back line does continue to go forward. And also we've got this up right where you're watching the game on. So I am watching it on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand, but I know that it's on Sky Sport Pacific and also Stan Sports, and Sanzar TV is another option if you have got any of those subscription services. They're now going back across. It's Santiago Marano. Holmes has already been replaced. Pryor back across. Pasatoa now Thrush. Oh no, he's dropped the ball there. Jeremy Thrush, rare mistake from the big man looking for the offload. Doesn't quite find the hands, and they're going back for the initial knock on. And it will be the scrum feed for the Fijian Drua. Only a few minutes out from their line. It looks like Faliti Kaitu'u is staying down with some sort of injury here, but Thrush ended up just dropping the ball, almost not even in the contact. It was just when he hit the ground. Maybe one of the fingers just slipped a little bit, but now Tawake is going to be getting back to his feet a little bit slower. In fact, it was Dolokoto there. And Frank Lamani looks like he might have a bit of an injury. He looks like he needs some spray at this stage, some of the magical spray that does end up fixing all things. Jeremy Thrush just giving himself his own magical spray of just literally tipping a drink bottle over his head. But currently now 48 minutes through this game. Still 1 minute 15 left of the Ollie Kalen red card, or the yellow card, I should say there. But now it will be the number 20 making his way out onto the field. That will be Tim Anstey for the Western Force now. Getting a good opportunity here for herself. And also we have got there, do you want to be my mate? And there says Fisher, well, normally anytime you guys are on the live streams, it does seem like, you're kind of just chilling out in the live streams, being friendly. All right, I feel like we've got a good community going at the moment. So I guess you're already considered part of that group. We have got there, g'day, Amo. You got winning, says Mikey Boy. It's a very tough question because the Western Force scored, then the Fijian Drua scored pretty much straight after that. So I will say currently, as it sits, I want to say the Drua will be able to win it, but it's going to be a very close game. And lad, what will be your last meal if you were given one says he'd probably just like stock standard pizza or something like that, maybe. Like, I don't think I'd be too fancy overall. Yeah, probably like a pizza or a chicken fried rice or something that I normally have anyway, to be fair. So maybe a 12-pack of Squiggles, just because I do quite like the biscuit. And also 16-12 Titans versus Warriors there. They're going to be taking the quick tap. Okay, too much movement, hit and hold. It's going to be now the free kick for the Fijian Drua. Frank Lamani tried to go quickly, but just wasn't quite on the mark. Go, Drua, go, says Suru there. What do they decide to do here? Okay, they're going for another scrum. It seems like there's been a huge amount of movement for both sides in the scrum. And it was something that I mentioned that did dominate that game between the Brumbies and the Reds. A lot of movement, which have been a lot of scrum resets. So far in this game, we're probably at about 5, I would say. Hopefully that is all we're going to have throughout this fixture today. But currently now sitting 49 minutes and 13 seconds left of Ollie Kalen's yellow card. And then I assume once that time is up, he might not make his way back out. In fact, no, he probably will, because they've got Jackson Pugh, who will be there as the replacement lock. Although Tim Anstey actually made his way out there as a replacement lock. So I guess you probably are looking at Jackson Pugh going out there for Ollie Kalen, perhaps, when he does get himself back out there a little bit later on in this game. But 50 minutes in now, Frank Lamani rolls the ball in 10 metres out from the line for the Drua, looking to the short side, and now nice step forward. And Wagyu steak would do it, for me, would do with steamed veggies. And there says Tabogo, which is a very good choice. I haven't actually ever had a Wagyu steak. I think the fanciest steak I've had is probably a ribeye or a fillet steak. Fillet steak, I think it's called. Something along those lines. Chicken curry, hot and spicy. And there says Suru. But now they're playing the advantage. Yeah, Frank Lamani going to have this one available for himself now, passing it wide. Nice bit of draw and pass there. Ulia Kepper getting a bit of steam going for the big man. It's a knock on. It's going back for the initial penalty, though. And also, will we see another yellow card? There's a chance that there could be one, although I don't think we'll see one, but there's definitely a chance that we could, I guess, is the best way. And who's leading statistically on scrums at this stage? I believe the Fijian Drua have got that little half advantage, but it's probably like 3 scrums each for each of the teams have actually lost their scrum type thing. So it just hasn't really been a smooth one. But overall for scrum penalties, I think Fijian Drua have had just 1 or 2 more free kicks. And also the penalty side of it as well. It keeps it a touch. Well, tell another yawn. Of course. Although I'd say if we're yawning now, I think that's just getting them out of the way, because we are going to be staying up all night for not just Super Rugby, but also for the Six Nations. We've got another 5 live streams that are coming later on today. It's going to be thrown in nicely, taken by Frank Lamani now, looking for the draw and pass. Carrying it forward, I believe that was Habose, there as the fullback. Also being replaced for Ratave. Good attack and run. Now it's Habose with the ball in hand, still available for the draw. 40 metres out now, marching up the field quite nicely. Good attack and run. It was the number 4. And also, Rugby Match, do you most excited to stream this weekend? I'd say France versus England, just because it should be a very exciting one. Just into touch there for the Fijian Drua by the looks of it. And Ratave just not quite able to keep himself in the field of play. But yeah, I'd say France versus England, but only if Ireland beats Scotland, because that means that it's all going to be on the line for the Six Nations. And Hamish, how much more rugby matches are there this week? Says Coning. So we've still got another 6 that we are doing on the channel in the next 24 hours. In fact, almost in the next 16 hours or so, we have got another 5 that we are going to be doing. Maybe 6 that we do the URC, but by then my voice might be missing a little bit. And then we've also got a game the next night, which is Cardiff taking on the Stormers for the URC. That will be at 1 a.m. That ball's gone high. No one's been able to line it up. So now taken nicely by Fergus Lee Warner, who's hit hard in the midsection by the Fijian defence, 40 metres out from their own line. Now the Drua going to be a big run forward from Bernard Stander. It's a penalty to the Drua. They want their ball. It's been thrown away. Oh, they've got to be careful doing that and take points, Drua. And then so the points would give them the lead here. Do they take it, though? It looks like Frank Lamani's got a bit more of a serious injury than he probably first anticipated. It was the shoulder initially. Now it looks like the arm playing up a little bit more. And also, who do you think is taking it, France or England? Says Dabogo. It's a great question. It's in France, which makes me think that France should be able to, but then England have been able to cause upsets before. And they've changed their kind of plan a little bit. I know that Freddie Stewart's starting out on the right wing for this game with Furbank at 15. So they've made a couple interesting changes. So I don't know whether that's from something that Eddie Jones has seen in the French side, but France have got a strong lineup for this matchup, that is for sure. So hopefully whoever wins it deserves it, because like France, it would be absolutely awesome seeing them get the Grand Slam, but I feel like England's going to have something to say about it and going to put a big old performance in. Ireland almost able to beat France in France. Can England do it completely? And that's one, an 18-16 Warriors at halftime, so not too bad for them. Also, who's going to score the next try? Says Ed. Next try of the match, I am going to go with, I'll go Apisalomi Vota. If it is a man for the Fijian Drua, or if it is a try for the Western Force, I'll go Manasa Mataele. The reason I go Vota is because he's been extremely unselfish throughout this whole match and hasn't really had too many opportunities. Everyone's just running it without him being involved. So I'm going to say he finally gets the opportunity. Either that or he gets the try assist. But that's a brilliant kick there from the Fijian Drua. And now Frank Lamani, it looks like a shoulder injury of some sort. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, because that's the last thing the Fijian Drua want here, is to lose him. But 10 meters out. And it is going to be the line-out throw here for Dolakoto. Okay, they were just checking to see if they had the right numbers here for this one. And also very diplomatic answers, says Tobago, there for that one. Only a keeper with a big drive forward. But yeah, it should be a very good game. Who do you think's winning Scotland, Ireland, out of curiosity? I know that's at the Aviva, isn't it? So you think Ireland would be able to do it, but Scotland dropping, I believe it was Finn Russell was the big news of the week. Now the Fijian Drua only 5 meters out from the line now. Looking for a bit more momentum for themselves rolling forward. Can they get themselves over the line here? The big forwards, they've got the advantage, so now they can use their back line if they do want to. Looks like it's going to first be dropped there. Is the ball still available? Yes, it is. Matawalu passes it out the back line. Who has got it now? It's going to be Ravovo. It's not passed the ball too often, that man overall, but now at the back line here. Nice pop pass up to Habosi. Trying to spin out of a couple extra tackles. He's still going, but you've got to make sure you shut down that man's legs, or else you get yourself into a bit more trouble. Now, big run forward for Mira. And the Western Force, they have to make sure that they keep on defending. Don't let them through here, or else you could get yourself in a bit of trouble. They've still got the advantage here for the Fijian Drua. Passing it back now. A little chip in behind. And that's going to be just gifted. The ball straight to the Western Force, and that's an easy 3 straight out in front of the post if the Fijian Drua want it, but it's 5 meters out. Do they go for it here? Looked like Vota wanted it. Okay, they're going to take on the shot now for the Fijian Drua. Smart play, get themselves in the lead, and then from there keep on building. But Tete Tela currently firing up the team, saying that we've got a good chance in this game up against the Force. Okay, Nick Berry giving them almost their last warning. I feel like he'll give them about 2 or 3 more after that one, but they've been told that they do need to improve that discipline, or else they could get themselves in quite a bit of trouble in the later stages. But Tititella now lining up this one. 2 from 3 so far tonight, or this afternoon, I guess you could call it. Seeing as it is quite an early game, that one has gone over. And now the Fijian Drua, they are sitting 18 points to 17 up. They are leading for the first time throughout this match. And they'll be very happy with that one indeed. The Fijian Drua, not just them, but also their crowd. They have come in to watch this game at Leichhardt Oval. And I'm looking forward to when we get to see games taking place in Fiji for the Fijian Drua and Suva. It will be where those games are taking place. And also just all around in Fiji, which is going to be absolutely awesome. Same with Moana Pacifico. I'd love to see them play in Tonga, Samoa, and everywhere around there. But now Mira, great tackle on him, and Kaitu'u taken off the field, the captain. That is for Andrew Reddy, so an early sub to make for them, but they felt that it was the time to do so. Kicked up high there, taken nicely by the Western Force just outside of their own 22, and then Pasatoa's running it sideways. Great low tackle on him, though. That was by Vota at number 13. Now Pryor going back across field. Andrew Reddy, first carry of the match for him. Now Pryor looks like he might be considering putting up the box kick. No, instead goes off to Ollie Kalin, who did get the yellow card a bit earlier on. Almost stolen by the Drua. Still going to be available. Pryor now going back across to Reddy. Already 2 carries since coming out onto the field. He's only got out there about 5 seconds ago. And he is already having carry after carry out there on the field. Now putting the ball up high for Ian Pryor. Looking up to the halfway line. It's an ugly challenge in the air. It's a knock-on, though, to the Western Force. Kicking it in behind, so that will be advantage over. Or is it? No. They said that the initial one was just a little bit more. And now they are going back for the scrum on the halfway line for the Western Force. For anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is hugely appreciated you guys all being here for these live streams. And here we have got plenty more coming in the future. The next game, the Chiefs versus Moana Pacifica. The game after that will be the Waratahs taking on the Rebels, which should also be a very exciting contest and probably quite a close one as well. I am just going to make sure that my chat is working on my phone. Yes, it is. Okay, that is all right. I'm just making sure that it was behaving itself in that one. But currently 58 minutes into this one, and the Highlander playing in the Fijian team in Suva around late April. And there's the Highlanders. That will be an awesome game just to feel that kind of momentum that will give the Fijian side, the passion that is shown by not just their team, but by the supporters of the Fijian Drua. Like, this will be the first opportunity to see them in the competition. It will be absolutely awesome to see, because that's the thing. We've seen in the past Super Rugby sides have played in Fiji. None of those sides have been Fijian, and now they are certainly going to be, which will be absolutely incredible for them as well. Now passing it out the back line is going to be Water, trying to break the line. Good low tag on him. It's offloaded back up. Now Matawalu trying to link up with Chirika DeVito, who does receive the little pop pass, 40 out from their own line here, the Drua. Now Tititela looking off to the short side. It's going to be Ravovo trying to go straight through. Well isolated, though, by Fergus Lee Warner and Richard Kaui. Men on the outside, though, and slapped down. No, it's not. And Manasa Mateli, he's in a foot race for the corner. They have stopped him. He does a grubber on the inside, and it's taken nicely. I don't believe that was put down by Tititela. Meter short of the line. It's kicked forward. It's just a wrestle for the ball, and it might have been the try there for Tim Anstey. Right, there's a lot to kind of, I guess, to think about in that play for Nick Berry. He's going to have to look at about 5 different things. First of all, were there knock-ons? Second of all, was it put down inside of the in-goal area for the Fijian Drua initially? And then after that, was it kicked out of their hands? Was it? There's so much. Okay. On-field, no try is scored by Nick Berry currently. This is a challenging one, but first of all, Manasa Mateli able to get that one. Now, he did actually first initially go at the ball with one hand. If he had slapped that down, it could have been a yellow card. But because he did actually manage to regather it, it did save him there. So, Tete Tella has this ball. The best case scenario for him is to go down over the line. He doesn't go down, though. So, because of it, he is then tackled by Strawn, drops the ball. Does he kick it out of the hands there? I think that could be a try. Okay, so it's a blue knock on. It's whether or not he does end up kicking it out of the hands of the player, though. Okay. I think this could be a try for Anstey. Although it's simultaneous. Simultaneously putting the ball down, which is going to be a tricky one. On to the side, so more than likely it might be a 5-meter scrum, I guess. But the question is whether or not, was it kicked out of the hands initially? Okay. So that ball pops out the side. Then from there, hands on the ball. Kicked out of his hands, though. Okay, they are just waiting for the certain angle that they do need to see, but this could be a try for the Western Force here, perhaps. Depending on how it goes, they are just waiting for the right camera. Okay, so Nick Berry, he's getting grumpy at the TMO, but he's just like, the TMO was waiting for the other angle. So I feel like it's one of those ones. Okay. It's going to be a no try because Richikawi dove on top of the number 10. So because of that, that is no try. That is a massive moment in this game. And Richard Kahui is disappointed with that one. But now 20 minutes left in this game. The Drua sitting on 18. The Force sitting on 17. And massive moment. Oh, this one, but it is called as a no try. And it's a penalty to the Fijian Drua. So they are able to survive just a little bit longer in this fixture by the looks of it. Like they've said, it's dangerous play from Richard Kahui. Almost got him in a bit of trouble there. Well, that one. But what we will quickly do is we will go like this. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That one is not found touch for the Drua, and that is not what they would have liked. Manasa Matali has dropped the ball. Another knock on, though, from the Fijian Drua. Now it is going to be going back for the penalty. Or not the penalty, sorry, the scrum feed. Okay, Bo Abra's making his way out onto the field, I do see now. I'm just going like this and like this as well. I was just changing a couple of the other ones that we have got coming up in terms of times that they will be starting, just because I will need some time to make the next kind of table and everything afterwards. For this much, and what live streams will you be doing tomorrow? It says LA. So if we're including today as well in that, I feel like I will just clarify, since some of the games are happening after midnight. So the first one that we have got coming up soon is Chiefs versus Moana Pacifica. That will be followed by the game that has taken place between the Waratahs and the Rebels, followed by the 3 games of the Six Nations. After that, we will be having the Cardiff versus Stormers game that has taken place on Sunday, and perhaps a game of the NRL as well if we are awake for that game. That is come off his foot. So it is going to be play on, and maybe even some premiership, depending on how the times overlap and everything along those lines. And do you think Moana will have a chance? And this is Mikey. It's going to be tricky for them, but I liked what I saw from them in the Crusaders game. So I feel like this game will be closer than the preseason match where there was about 40 points difference or something along those lines. Come on, Fiji, says Max. Got to run for there for Ratave, finding the offload. Now once again, another one. 5 meters out. No, he's fumbled it. And now Andrew Reddy, I believe that was maybe taking the man on the ground. Yes, it was. A little knock on against the Drua. 5 meters out now from their own line here for the Western Force. Passing the ball back across to Fergus Lee Warner, trying to get them a couple of extra meters and trying to set it up for the kick here. For Pryor to pass it back to Pasatoa. Ooh. Okay, the ball was out. We're going back for the knock on. It's the goal from Nick Berry there. And 5 meters out from their own line here, the Western Force. They're going to have such important scrum feed. Currently extremely close in this game. We did see the game between the Brumbies and the Reds. It was extremely close also. And also, will the Force get this done, says Dougie. It's a tough one because the Fijian Drua currently are putting them under pressure, although the Western Force have also had a couple of very close opportunities to score. So I think both sides score at least one more try. It's probably the penalty count that will determine this game, I would say. So both teams getting one more, and then a penalty for the Western Force could be the difference. A penalty for the Fijian Drua that they already got might be what keeps them in the lead. But we have got there Richard that said, let's go Drua, and the chat as well. And yeah, we are going to be covering every game of the Fijian Drua this season, and also every game of Super Rugby Pacific. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. to Wake off the field now. That is for Saulo, who is replacing him. But unfortunate for Sawake. Or sorry, Tawake, because he was actually almost able to get himself a try. That's a massive push from the Drua, 5 meters out, and they were almost able to turn that one over. They win the penalty there for the Drua. And now, what do they do? 5 meters out from the line. Do they go for a scrum? But that has certainly fired up the crowd at LEICHHART Oval after being able to get that one. It was a massive push from Saulo in the front row. The replacements just look dangerous. And now what do they decide? They want another scrum here for the Fijian Drua. And also, I believe, is Tokyo Tame out on the field as of yet? I don't think so yet. Dolakoto still out there. And also, great work, brother, says Richard. And the stream is more entertaining than the AFL. Geelong winning by 58 points. Jeez, that's a long way. And also, go Drua, go, choke them out. And there says Siru. Yeah, currently 17 minutes left. Can they keep up this momentum? Second half possession, 53% for the Drua. They actually had 57% in the first half. They have had a majority of the possession when they do want it. And the question is, can they get themselves another try on the board? They've currently already got the 2. Was Frank Lamani, and also the first try scorer of the match was Habosi. Now a big push needed from the Drua. The ball is stuck in there. It's gone down in the front row. Available now. It's knocked out of hands. Matawalu. It's a penalty there against Pryor. And also go, boys, go. And Xavier Brown mate, watching paint dry is more entertaining than the AFL one. There says by Pulse 6, Pulse X, I think it is. Right there, and go boys, go. And they're right, they're in trouble here, the Western Force. Any more penalties, and someone's going to the bin and drop goal, boys. And that's Cyril, not quite. Little bit longer. They can probably try and go for that pushover scrum perhaps, get themselves the advantage, and then go for the wide backline movement. Also, what do you think about Sonny Bill Williams doing boxing sees LA? I do see his fight's actually coming up on Wednesday, isn't it? Because I know he's done it in the past. I mean, he's a very talented athlete, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes from AFL. It's good, but Union is more entertaining than AFL. And points through, says Sarah there. And also, do you know how tens work? I got a tens tournament next week. Is it 2 10-minute halves? I believe so. I think it's what they used to have for the sevens final. So I think it's 10 players per team, or maybe 7 players per team, and it's 10-minute halves. But I assume it would be 10 players perhaps on the field at a time. So it's probably short little bursts to help get your fitness up, I would think. As our ball being fed in there. Better feed. Stay there. Pryor has been told by the referee it's going to be the advantage. Too much movement there. And how long till the force break after the pressure, says Richard. I'd say they're probably only about 1 or 2 minutes away from getting another yellow card. Bats and bros, the game over, says Topini, not quite. Still another 15 minutes left. So still plenty of time for both sides. But the Fijian Drua only 5 meters out from the line now, and looking pretty good. The Chiefs and Moana Pacifica, they are playing the next game for the night, then followed by Waratahs versus Rebels. And at the end of that, we will know who will be in the top 8 after round 5. And one of these two sides, whoever wins this game, has certainly got the possibility of being up there. And points, says Suru for that one. So he wants them to take the 3 that is available. But the Fijian Drua, they look like they want to keep on going for that full 7. They want another try here. Matawalu about to feed this ball, and you have to wonder, will it backfire for them? Will the Western Force get a massive push in? Scrum is set. Ball has been fed in. It hasn't been the cleanest hook so far for the Fijian Drua. Nicely done, though. I believe that was by the big number 8, the captain Nagusa, now charging forward, almost falling onto his back, looking for the quick offload. And it does go back. Now they are down to the ground, only 2 meters out from the line. Matawalu looking for his big forwards. Togi Otama with a good carry forward now. And they are continuing to get closer and closer and closer. It's a penalty, though. And that time it is going to be against the Fijian Drua. So they do miss out on the points just for that moment. And they were under a huge amount of pressure. I believe it was Andrew Reddy who ended up winning the not releasing penalty, and Fire Drua. And there's Cyril. But Togi Otama with a good carry forward, but no one there to clean out. And unfortunately, due to that, where did he come from? He just waited for the perfect opportunity once the ball was available. In fact, no, it wasn't actually Andrew Reddy. It was the number 20 in that one, which is Timanski. Was almost able to score himself a try down the other end. But now 22 meters out, the Western Force are going to have themselves another line-out throw. They are ready to go. Ref penalty. Try, please, says Richard in there. Not quite. He hasn't quite awarded one yet, Nick Berry. Although with the amount of cards or the amount of warnings that they've had, the Western Force, maybe it's not too far away, depending on how it goes, taken at the back. Therefore, Isaac Rodder. And now the Western Force trying to build their way up with a few more meters in the rolling more. Andrew Reddy has it at the back. It's looking very nicely set here. And they are trying to creep their way through the middle. I believe it is Mero. Okay, points have gone begging for the Fijian, says Dougie in there. Yeah, they have missed out there to not be able to pick up the try rather than taking on the 3 points. You wonder, will it cost them in the later stages, or will they get another opportunity? Pasatoa, quick hands out to Manasa Mateali, going down the wing, just bumping off. He's had his pants pulled down, but luckily he's wearing something underneath. Pryor now back across to Richard Kahui. Isaac Rodder drawing past with Santiago Mevrano. Now Ian Pryor kicking it in behind, looking for a bit of space. He's not going to find it, though. And now it's going back for the penalty to the Western Force. This is a kickable 3 for them if they want it. That looks like Ratave might have some sort of injury. So hopefully that ankle or shin isn't as serious as it looks. And hopefully it's just a little bit of cramp. And 3 is okay on there, says Lake Show. They are going to take on the 3. I'm here, by the way. I'm just lurking because I can't really get myself to say something. I see Paul Six's comment about the AFL. He's telling the truth, as says Sebastian. They have on points. It was calling the shots. And there's Suru. And at this stage, I believe it is their number 8. Nagusu's in charge. But it is good to see you, Sebastian. So I guess I have probably asked this a few times, but I'm going to ask it again. Wales versus Italy, Ireland versus Scotland, France versus England. Who you picking to win those games? Do let me know. And better than forcing line out and losing the ball, or even losing scrum, says Lake Show. But now, okay. Bailey Quinzel's going to be kicking this one for the touchline here. Hasn't found a huge amount of distance on it, but they have gone for the corner rather than the 3 here. So the Western Force also playing that slightly more aggressive game. It looks like a couple subs are being made. There's now the number 20, Salawa, making his way out there. Another big yawn from myself. Now taken nicely. And now driving forward here for the Western Force. Currently 30 metres out, Wales all the way. And there says Richard, and also better than force line out and losing the ball. Oh, even losing the scrum, says Lake Show. And that one, now it's going to be Isaac Fines going back across to Stunder. Continuing to just drive forward very nicely for the Western Force. That's the thing, both sides. Oh, no. Okay, I'm not going to say what I was about to say because that would jinx them big time. And now they've done it again. It's another knock on right. What I was about to say was both sides have been able to put together some very nice phases in this match. Then we saw a knock-on from the Western Force player. 2 passes later, we saw the knock-on from the Fijian player. So, unfortunately, just jinxed a big time. Wales, Ireland, France, probably. I'd love to see England beat France in Paris, but we live in the real world in it. As else says Sebastian, although I guess from what we've seen in the NRL first round, anything is possible. It's going to be tough for them, though. What do you think of the changes that Eddie's made? Freddie Stewart out on the right wing, I do see, and subscribe to your channel from Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Dougie. Do appreciate you, mate. And we have got plenty more Super Rugby, plenty more of the Six Nations, and also the Seven Circuit we will be covering on the channel very soon when it is back up for the Singapore Sevens, just around the corner. But 10 minutes left in this fixture now. The Fijian Drua, they are being smart, offering Nick Berry a drink of water. That's what you got to do, and he did accept it, Nick Berry. I wanted one more try, says Ed. And that one as well. But it looks like some sort of injury there. For it is Tui Whangalele. And that is going to be now Manimbi making his way out onto the field. He's a tall individual, isn't he? And I think it's because, like, you don't realize how tall someone is until they stand next to an average-sized individual. And then you realize, hang on, he's quite a unit. But then that is the same thing for most of these Fijian players. They are strong. They are definitely capable of being able to hold out for the last 10 minutes, but it's whether or not the Western Force make any mistakes before we get to that stage. But the Fijian Drua, the supporters are out in numbers at Leichhardt Oval, hoping to see their side get themselves the win here. But 18 points to 17, only 1 point difference between them. It's getting closer and closer by the minute to another 1 point thriller possibly in Super Rugby Pacific. We've already seen a close game this weekend. That was the Brumbies versus Reds yesterday. That was only separated by about 4 points, I believe it was. So bonus point for the losing side and the Reds, who move themselves up to 18 points now. The Brumbies, though, they're at the top of the bunch. They have not lost a game as of yet. Now another big push forward here for them. It's a bit of contact there, and they've done nicely. The Fijian Drua to hang on to that one. How many minutes left? It is going to be 10 minutes now left on the clock. Ball going in behind, waiting for it to sit up nicely, taken by Jake Strawn as his midsection taken out from underneath him by Vota. And that is a big hit there. The Fijian Drua, I think that's almost going to be a turnover here for them. Yes, it is. They've been able to take the ball back as well. It's a knock-on, though, from the Fijian Drua. And go, Drua, go. And it says Atalitha. And now kicking it in behind, it will be high up in the sky, and it's kicked out on the full from Isaac Fines. And also man of the match so far. Ooh. Okay, man of the match so far for myself, I would say, I mean, Habosi's been impressive. Ravovo has also had some very good carries, and also, to be fair, AFL, they have better crowd attendance in both rugby codes. And yeah, but that was a big hit from Vota. Just smashing into the midsection of Jake Strawn, which is not what you want, really. Definitely because he was holding the ball up here, which means you're just exposed and you're going to get something, maybe a broken rib along those lines, but thrown in. It's nicely stolen there by Isaac Rodder, though. And now Isaac Fines once again passing it back out the back line of the Western Force. Thunder dragged down by his opposite number, the captain. There's one Nagusa. On short side, drawing past Richard Kahui, isolated and tackled by his opposite number, Vorte. At the moment, it is a man marking a man when it is the same number on their back. A little bit of a juggle. It goes backwards there for the Western Force. A lot of pressure. Pasatoa spins out of the tackle now, just looking for that wide ball out to Manasa Mateali. Couldn't quite free the hands, though. Now going short side. Out now to Big Bo Abra. His first go for a nice berry. Oh, please. And there as well says Siru. And also Let's Go Drua says it was a Rio gamer. Now going back across. Isaac Fines puts the ball high. And now on the halfway line, it's going to be knocked backwards there by Richard Coe. He jumped on it once again, was Andrew Reddy. A lot of pressure there from the drawer in the breakdown. Unable to turn it over. And Buller as well says to Letha, welcome in to Livestream. Hope you are enjoying the game so far. The draw, they've got themselves a lead. Another 7.5 minutes left of this fixture. Pasatoa now. Big hit from Vota. He's still got plenty left in that tank. Now, Isaac Fines goes back across. They are phase after phase, currently trying to rebuild themselves into an attacking position. It looks like they will be going around the side once again. It's out the back line. It's missed the winger there. And now it will be the Fijian Drua who have got themselves the opportunity to go for the line out. 7 minutes left. The Drua, they're leading this game. They were underdogs going into this fixture. I'm going to have a look and see what they are sitting at now in terms of the odds of whether or not they are still considered as an underdog for this match. I assume it will be extremely close, though, with the fact that it could be a pick-em game. Currently, the Warriors fighting back in their game as well. I see that the Western Force are paying $3.80 to win this game compared to the Drua, who are sitting way below. It's nicely taken in the front by the Fijian Drua now. Trying to build themselves forward just a little bit more, but only 7 minutes left now in this fixture. Still going to be available here for the Fijian Drua. Passing it back out. Nice run forward from Ratave. Finds the offload now. And it seems like the Fijian Drua are just going to go phase after phase, hang on to it for as long as they can. If they get the advantage, that would be absolutely huge for them. Now it is going to be the replacement Namimbi, sorry. It was. Now Teller going back. Ratave kicks it in behind, sits up nicely and feeling very nervous, to be honest, as us says Dougie. Yeah, it is a very close game currently. As we said, it's a good kick, or is it? No, it went out on the full. And this is where a real man seen the last few minutes go Drua. And there says Richard. And yeah, it's certainly going to be a moment that the Drua will have to step up for. They're currently sitting in 9th on the table. If they win this game, they go right up to about 7th or 6th or somewhere around there, I believe. If we're not wrong, one moment. We will have a quick look at the table for you guys. There we go. That is where they are sitting currently. The Drua, if they win this game, they will move up to 9 points. And that will move them up to 7th as we currently sit, which will put them in the top 8. And that is exactly what they will be after. Going to the back. It's over the top. Andrew Reddy taking it. Well, the Western Force, not what the Drua would have been after in that situation. Now Isaac Fines kicks it in behind here. And it's going to be out on the full again. Does he realise the touchline is where it is and not about 5 or 10 metres over to the side? That's 2 in a row that he's kicked out on the full. Maybe a bit too much pressure there for Isaac Fines. If anyone's wondering where I've disappeared to, I was pretty much just reaching now to get my charging cable, because my phone is currently only sitting on 7%. So I thought I'd better do it now on Buller. And there says Talitha and also Buller. And there as well. Now the Fijian supporters, they are in attendance for this game. They are loving it at this stage. It's an atmosphere and a half. And just imagine the atmosphere when they head back to Fiji. It's going to be absolutely incredible for those matches. But now the replacement here, Togi Otama, throws the ball and it's a bit loose, but the Drua, do they hang on to it? Wasn't a knock on. It might have been close. They have said it's gone backwards. Currently almost up to the 22 now for the Fijian Drua once again. Currently only 6. Oh, in fact, no, only 4 minutes left now. Matawalu offloading it back. Nicely done. Linking up with Tamani and Fijian Drua fire. And there says Siru. They haven't got the advantage as of yet. Matawalu passes it across to Saulo. Oh, it's a knock-on, though, by the Drua. This is not what they would have been wanting, and now it's a counter-attack here for the Western Force. Manasa Mateli breaking through a tackle. He was waiting for it on the outside there, Jake Strawn, but he didn't receive it. In fact, yeah, it was Jake Strawn. I know that they've got Jack McIntyre or Jake McIntyre and also Jack someone, so that confuses me. That's going to be the penalty to the Fijian Drua, taking the quick tap, but they say they weren't on the mark. And like they're saying, just slow it down a little bit more now. And Frank Lamani, he's trying to celebrate for that one, but his ice pack's just fallen down his front. He's trying to hold it on the shoulder, but he can't help but contain his excitement for what could be another win for the Fijian Drua. Stolen in the breakdown, initially ripped away. And it was the penalty in favour of the Fijian Drua, and it was the big man Salawa who was able to win it right. The Fijian Drua, they will be kicking this one for the corner. No, they won't. They're taking on the 3. Bold. Very bold from the Fijian Drua, but they've decided they want to put themselves outside of the 3-point window that if the Western Force were able to get themselves a penalty or anything along those lines. So yes, it will use up less time, but it's going to be interesting. Let's go, Drua. I use brains, not brawn, and there says Richard. And I guess that is why they have taken on the 3 in this situation. And come on, Drua, says Paddy Wagon. Currently now from 45 out on the angle. This to give them a little bit more of a lead here in this fixture. Just a little one. Just a little 4-point lead, but it could be enough throughout this game. It's only decided by 1 point currently. Oh, man, what's happening? Go, Drua, go. Says Sirisa. Tetitella, 3 from 4 tonight for his successful kicks. And also, I picked Force up. I won't be upset if Drua win. And there says Nov Mum. And also, we've got there. Do you want to see Rugby Challenge 4 Tournament Season 2? I say yes. And there says Brandon. Tetitella strikes it. Has it got the distance? It's looking pretty good. Oh, it goes away to the left. Just away. So it uses up some time, but that does not give them more than just the 1-point lead currently. Pressure, 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 says Sarah. It certainly is for the Fijian Drua. Can they get the job done here? Going to be kicked off for the 22 dropout. Going high, retained by the Western Force, and they've got this ball back. Now going down. Now around the side, Isaac Fines going back across to Ollie Kalen. Now 45 out from their own line here. They need to keep on building. 55 metres will be what they need. Pasatoa off to Fergus Lee Warner. Currently only 1 minute 30 left on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. They cannot afford to kick this one back. So that is why they will have to just hang on to it. Almost down to a minute. Now going back out the back line. Pasatoa, Richikawi, drawing pass, cutting back on the inside. The ball's been dropped, but it's an advantage. It's a penalty. Going back for the Western Force. It's too far out for them to be able to line it up, though, for the 3 and phase play, boys, says Sarah. And also, you're going to do more. Any more games today, says Greg? We sure are. We have got the game that is happening in only about 30 minutes' time. That will be the matchup that has taken place between the Chiefs and Moana Pacifica. Then after that, we are doing the game between the Waratahs and the Rebels, followed by 3 games of the Six Nations. Wales versus Italy, Ireland versus Scotland, and then England versus France. In France with that one. No, please get a or don't get a penalty. Let's go, Drua, says Rio Gamer. Currently now 35 metres out. It will be the line out here. Tackles made. The Drua have made 111 with a 94% tackle completion. That is absolutely outstanding from the Drua boys. They played like a side who want to win this. Do you call the NRL games as well, says Dougie? Dougie. We do try our best on a few of those NRL ones, and that is on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, just because it is slightly different to the rugby and cricket, and also just for copyright reasons, we do prefer to do it over on that one. And also, Drua needs to maintain the discipline, says Tabogo. They sure do. Currently now about 35 metres out. The Drua, the last thing they want is to give away a penalty here with 15 seconds left on the clock. Fergus Lee Warner, they've just got to wait for the mistake. And also, we have got the, oh, damn, you grinded as well, says Greg. Yeah, we got plenty more coming up. And Drua decision-making wasn't the smartest. I should have phased it out. And, yeah, I would have thought they'd go for the corner. Definitely with it being such a hard kick. That's going to be on the ball, though. Does he get it? Oh, he's dropped on his head there, Matawalu. Wasn't able to turn it over, though. Now it's going to be Fergus Lee Warner. In fact, no, that was Isaac Rodder. Currently 30 metres out after the 80 minutes now in this game. And all they need to do is either get themselves the advantage or for the Fijian Drua, they just need to close it out. Keep it up, boys. There's Miraleta. The ball's been dropped. It went backwards from the Western Force, so they continue going for now. Ollie Kalen running it straight sideways. Now Isaac finds they're up to 10 phases now. Going short side, Manasa Mataeli. Good attack and run. Drag down once again. Player is able to just roll away in time. Now back out to Isaac Rodder. They continue to build phase after phase. 30 metres out, short side. Out to finds now Jake Strawn. Dragged down nicely. This is great discipline from Fiji as of this point, but they need to make sure they continue that good discipline, or else it could get them in a little bit of trouble. Now Mateli, good attack and run forward, just tries to drive his legs. Player almost scored on the wrong side. Now he's all right. Now 14 phases in here for the Western Force. Good attack and run for Fergus Lee Warner, trying to get straight on the ball. It bounces out the back there for Isaac Fines. Pasatoa running himself. Chirika Davida trying to get on the ball, unable to. 16 phases now, and the Western Force are still defending. Come on, Fiji, says Japiz. It's available. The Western Force, I should say, are on the attack here. And now continuing to go and go and go. Fergus Lee Warner around the side up to 18 phases. This one could be a thrilling moment at the end of this game. They are just waiting for either the penalty advantage to come against the Fijian Drua or for the Western Force to be able to get themselves over the line. It was almost turned over once again, but they are still hanging on to it. Up to 20 phases now. Who decides to go for it? He can't go for it there. Now the player has been able to roll away and go, Drua, let's go. And unbelievable, says Dougie, the most phases we have seen throughout this match. And that is actually beating the 20 we had already seen. And this one, ball still available, up to 23 phases now. And the Western Force, they are up to 82 minutes, continuing to build great defense from the Drua, driving them backwards. Ball is still there. Fines goes back across. Richard Kahui, rush defense on him. Great low tackle. Ball almost, no, it's an advantage against the Fijian Drua. And it's going to be now the drop goal. Pasatoa strikes it. He gets it away to the side, but now they've got the opportunity to take on the 3 after 25 phases there for the Drua. This could be heartbreak. Also, Tosso Drua says Clayton, an outstanding defense to Jabiz. Outstanding indeed. But now Pasatoa, after missing the drop kick, has to now line up this kick. Tell you what, that is going to be still not a guarantee win for the Western Force as of yet, just away to the side. And also, oh, this is intense in there, says Novma, but now the kick to come. Right on the 10-meter mark. From the angle, the youngster, Bailey Quinzel, missed the penalty, please, says Richard. This is the difference between the two sides. Either way, both sides getting at least one try, or 1 point, I should say, but this is going to be whoever gets the full 4. If it misses, the Fijian Drua win by 1 point. If the Force get this over, they win it by 2 points. We're up to 83.5 minutes now in this match. Bailey Quinzel lining it up. Just in case you guys are ahead, I'm going to move my game over the top of the chat. I can no longer see it. 18 points to 17. A kick to win the game for Liti Kaitu'u nervous. Bailey Quinzel from 25 meters out on the angle. 84 minutes and the crowd are going nuts at the moment. He strikes it straight down the middle and the Western Force win it. And they do win it 20 points to 18. They have been able to get the win at full time. And I was a good game, draw heartbreakers on there and got to get this, boys. What an intense game, please miss. And my dad's so excited of what's going to happen. And no, says LA, yeah. Heartbreak for the Fijian Drua. But they still received themselves the 1 point in this game. They fought with their hearts on their sleeves in that matchup. And they were so close to being able to get over the line. And I was like, yeah, says Dougie. Fought that one as well. And also, look at their nose, says Brendan. But currently, as it sits, the Fijian Drua, they will move up to 6 points. The Western Force with that win move up to 11. And they will be sitting up there and at number 5. But Bailey Quinzel straight down the middle. Wasn't even close to missing it. He knew he struck it nicely. And thanks, man, says Dougie. So no worries at all. We have got a couple more games that are coming later on for Super Rugby. Our next one will be starting at 6:55 p.m. New Zealand time. And that will be the match between Moana Pacifica and the Chiefs. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are going to be doing every single game of Super Rugby Pacific, including all of Fijian Drua's games that are coming up, all of the Western Forces as well. And then we've got the Six Nations later on tonight. But Ian Pry, he was celebrating Feliti Kai too. He's got to be careful jumping like that. He might hurt himself quite badly. And good game, Fiji, says Mr. West. Yeah, extremely close one. And in the end, does go the way of the Western Force, 20 points to 18. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and we will be back a little bit later on. Best try of the game, I would say, was probably that full field try for Frank Lamani right after the try that we did see for Fergus Lee Warner. So they pretty much went Ravovo, offload to Lamani, and that was a very nice one indeed, a heartbreak for the Drua. And there, our man of the match is Ed. I would probably go with, I know Manasa Mateli had a lot of running meters, so you probably almost consider him. Isaac Roddy had a very good game as well. I thought Fergus Lee Warner, in fact, I would give man of the match to if I had to pick one. And then for a Fijian Drua player, if he was going to get man of the match, I would probably end up giving it to Ravovo or Habosi. This one, but nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back in about 22 minutes time for our next live stream. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all